What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back. Talking Mets with Rob. How is everybody doing, guys? Back in a New York groove, right here on Talking Mets with Rob. Welcome to Mets PreGame Live for the series finale, Mets versus Giants Game 3, rubber game. See if the Mets can win the series, guys. And once again, guys, your comments will be a little bit delayed because of YouTube saying to me that there has been a lot of cursing, a lot of different type of slurs that have been said on the comments, so it's going to be a little bit delayed. So don't mind me. I'm waiting for the comments to pull up. So when they do, I will see them, but it'll be a little bit delayed. But other than that, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. And welcome back to Talk to Mets with Rob. Another live stream during a Mets game. It's been a while. Obviously, I was in Colorado. If you checked my channel, I posted pictures and I did one or two live streams while I was in Colorado, a 115 in live and also a Mets Talk live. So let me make sure you guys can hear me, and I will get started with the Mets pregame and talk a little bit about yesterday's insane game that happened last night. And I'll talk quickly about Colorado a little bit and my experience there. And if you got any questions for me regarding Colorado or today's game, just hit me up in the comments, guys, and we will go from there. So once again, guys, if you just tuned in, the comments will be a little bit delayed. Then when you type them, it's about a 30-second delay. It is getting reviewed by YouTube over and over again. So today is the day that YouTube told me that they will be reviewing comments before they are put on the chat. And you can get blocked by YouTube itself, not myself. So just so you guys know, be careful about what you say. Again, you can trash talk, you can, be pissed off, but just make sure any type of racial slurs towards somebody or anything at all, or anything that can be disrespectful in a huge, big way, it will get taken out of it. It will be stricken from the comments, and you might even be blocked from the channel for the day and for the live stream. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's been a big thing. I got the email from YouTube, and I can only do so much about restricting comments, but some still get through, and it's up to me and the moderators to get most of it out of the way. But YouTube is taking it in their hands now, and it's not just me. It's going around YouTube. They're just trying to make a better, viewing experience. And yeah, Leroy, I understand. It depends, it depends on what type of live stream people put out there. Again, it's a sports. I'm a sports channel. I'm a Mets channel. People are going to voice their opinions, and I love that people voice their opinions, but it's gotten to a point where they had to step in. And every time my live stream ends, it goes into a review for monetization, which it's not affecting my monetization of my channel, but it is knocking people off the live stream, and you will know if you get blocked. They will tell you. So what that does, that puts me and other channels, content creators, in a bad spot, because some people might not come back to the channel because of that. And you'll see that throughout YouTube or with live streams that involve sports in general, which they're focused on because we are somewhat the loudest and the obnoxious and, like the back talk and trash talk. Obviously political stuff as well is one of the things that it was said in the email as well, but they're focusing on the sports channels as a whole. So just make sure that you're careful with what you say, because I don't want nobody getting blocked. And I just wanted to put that out there before we get started, because it's a little annoying that the comment is 30 seconds delayed, because that's what they're doing. I don't know how long they're doing it for, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm not ignoring your comments. It's just coming in a little bit slower than usual. Again, the TV call that I usually do with game day will be up. That's not an issue at all. So you will get the sound of the game. You will get game day to follow the game. And you'll get my instant reactions during the innings and after the innings, as well as always on this channel. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button so we can get that stream out to more Mets fans, more baseball fans, for Mets pregame and Mets versus Giants rubber game. So that is one thing. Other than that, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit on that subscribe button, guys. And again, don't be mad if I don't get to your comments right away. YouTube is delaying the comments when you send them about 30 seconds or so. If they're clean comments, they usually get through quicker. But if there's something in there that they deem could be restricted or could be a bad comment or a lot of curse words, they might hold it back for a few seconds longer until I see it and everybody else sees it. So it's annoying, but that's what they do, and there's nothing I can do about that. So today's game, guys. Well, let's talk about yesterday's game. Some people stood up, some people didn't. I was sleeping around about the second inning or so. I went to bed because I do, obviously, most of you guys know, I work overnight, so I had to get some sleep. Watching a little bit of the game. Fell asleep around the second inning. I had the radio streaming while I was sleeping, dozing off while the game was going on. The last thing I remember was it was 8-2 around the fifth or sixth inning or so, and then I'm waking up to get ready for work, and the Mets are slowly coming back. The Lindor 2-home run, and then all hell broke loose. Mets went crazy. They tied the game. Everything just started going crazy. And the Mets, just at a snap of a finger went up 11-8. And I'm like, holy, you know what? I'm up. I'm wide awake. You would think I would be tired, getting a few hours of sleep. I was up. I was ready to go. Just put the TV on, watching the game, 11-8 Mets, and then Jock Peterson happened again. Boom, 3-run home run, tie game. God damn it. The Mets could have pulled out a massive victory, 11-8, and you're like, all right, they tied the game. We still got a chance here. And then next inning, Nimmo with the sac fly. Mets go up 12-11. All right, here we go. Diaz is coming in. No problems there. Wilmer Flores gets the base hit. Not too long after that, double play. Nice turn by Mcneil and Lindor. 2 outs, nobody on. Mets up by a run. Diaz need one more out, then a walk, then a hit. And then all hell breaks loose. They tie the game. Jock Peterson ties the game. And then Crawford with the game-winning hit in the ninth. Mets lose 13-12. And it sounded like a long 2 innings, but it happened rather quickly, guys. And that was something that was just insane what happened. And I would say there's 2 things, but I'm going to point to one thing that really annoyed me in this game. And we're going to go back to the 8th inning. Drew Smith is obviously the de facto 8th inning pitcher for this team. Buck Showalter Drew Smith has been Buck Showalter's favorite, one of his favorites in those late inning, 8th inning spots. I was fine with that. Drew Smith has been one of our best bullpen arms. Not lately. He struggled a little bit, but I understand that's your 8th inning guy. You're going to go after him. Fine. But when you have 2 on with Jock Peterson coming at the plate and you have Joely Rodriguez warming up in the bullpen for specifically Jock Peterson, and notice Drew Smith is struggling on the mound, there is no reason why Joely Rodriguez should not be in that ball game. There's no other reason why you have Joely Rodriguez up in that spot when Jock Peterson is coming to the plate and he was in a hot streak in a game that was insane. And that's one thing where it's like, all right, no doubt about it. I didn't even worry about it. I thought Buck Showalter was going to make the move. Jock Peterson, during the season, this season, is 1 for 10 with no home runs against a left-handed pitcher. He don't play a lot against left-handers because he's not very good against left-handers. That was a no-brainer that I think whoever was watching that game last night or earlier in the morning thought that Joely Rodriguez was coming in that game for Jock Peterson. What happened? He left in Drew Smith, and Jock Peterson hits it to the moon. And that ties the ball game. I don't like to critique Buck Showalter because I always think he has a method to his madness. But the one critique you can say about Buck Showalter in his career is his use of his bullpen and how he uses them. Guys he leaves in too long, takes out a guy too early, puts in the wrong guy. In that spot right there, probably 95% of Mets fans thought, why isn't Joely Rodriguez pitching to Jock Peterson? There was no other reason to have Joely Rodriguez warming up in that bullpen except for Jock Peterson if he came up in that spot. And I just didn't understand why that didn't happen. Again, if Drew Smith would have got out Jock Peterson, he looked like genius. But when you have that so-called smoking gun in a left-hander against Jock Peterson, who has struggled in his career and specifically this year against left-handers, that's when you have to use that smoking gun in Joely Rodriguez. Not saying Joely Rodriguez comes in and strikes him out or gets him out. He could probably still hit a bomb and tie the game with the game he was having already. But at the end of the day, guys, if Joely Rodriguez wasn't warming up in the bullpen, I could say, all right, Buck Showalter is staying with his guy. But knowing that Joely Rodriguez was warming up in that bullpen, Buck Showalter clearly had it in his mind, okay, if Peterson comes up in this spot, I'll put in Joely Rodriguez in. So he was clearly dicking it. Whatever changed his mind, clearly he kept Drew Smith out there because whatever reason he had. And again, there was a lot of people, I think a lot of Met fans that just assumed that Buck Showalter was going to make that move for Joely Rodriguez. Again, it's hard to question Buck because the Mets have been so good this year, but I felt like that was the one mistake this year where I think a lot of more Mets fans, there was others that I didn't agree with that didn't go our way. Again, that happens. That's baseball. But when it comes to that spot, Joely Rodriguez had to be in there. And that's the first time I'm like, Buck, what the hell are you doing in this spot? He clearly had Joely Rodriguez up for Peterson specifically. I don't know if he called the bullpen and Rodriguez was stiff. He couldn't get loose. I don't know. Did he feel confident in Drew Smith and his ground ball capabilities? I don't know. But you didn't make a trade for Joely Rodriguez and trade Miguel Castro because you clearly needed another lefty besides Chasing Shreve, and you get Joely Rodriguez from the Yankees for these specific spots in important spots in the game. That's why you have Shreve, and you also have a second reliever that's a lefty in Joely Rodriguez, and you did not use him. It just didn't make sense to me. For a game where the Mets came back where, I felt like they might have made the game close. I didn't think they were going to tie it again. It's almost impossible sometimes to come back from these type of deficits, but the Mets did. At that point, you just have to do everything you can in your power to win that ball game. It's very difficult to lose that game when you come back. You saw the disappointment on Lindor's face and a couple of Mets faces. And it again, they came back. So it's like, that's something to look into. This team never gives up. I love it. But at the end of the day, guys, I thought Joely Rodriguez could have gave a bomb to Peterson anyway, and then we could have been like, all right, Buck made the move. It was the right move. Peterson just beat him. But when that batter's 1 for 10 with no home runs against a lefty this year, it's a no-brainer move. But that game is over with. The Mets still had an opportunity in the ninth to win the ball game, up 12-11, and Diaz blew the lead and the game and the save in the ninth. Okay, it's a one-run ball game. Anything can happen in that spot. Again, Edwin Diaz didn't have his great stuff yesterday. He was wild for the most part, and he did get that double play. I thought the game. I thought for the most part the game was in the bag. I was driving to work at this point, so I wasn't even watching the game. I was listening to the game in the car when Ray Randazzo was going through the play, and that's when Diaz blew in the game. I was like halfway to work, and I was annoyed. But at the end of the day, the team came back. All the hustles, you gotta all the hustling plays, this infield singles that put this hot streak together, and the multiple hits and the big time at bats, it was perfect. Again, Buck Showalter really did make that one big mistake that we really haven't questioned him much at all, even though I did question a little bit, but those were some that could have went either way. This was a no-brainer. But guess what, guys? Today's another day. I think it's more important for the Mets to get today's win and bounce back from that annoying loss last night, even though all of us could have went to bed early after 8-2 and called it a night. But that's okay. Today's the day that is important. And on the mound for today is a rookie pitcher. He had one appearance for the Mets as a relief pitcher, and that's Thomas Szapucki. His first career start as a New York Met in his Major League career. And what also annoyed me about yesterday and why winning the game is so important is because of the fact that Szapucki is an unknown basically as a starter. We don't know. He's pitched well in the minors, but what does that really mean, right? Is he going to give us 5 innings? Who knows? But it's going to be a big problem today if he doesn't go at least 5 innings. But it's an unknown at this point. I hope we can win. But let's just hope the fact that Thomas Szapucki can do good. I think his stats are really nice in the minors. He seemed like he found it a little bit in the minors, especially with after his injuries. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I might have to step away for 1 second. All right, guys, just give me 1 second. I just have to fix something really quick before I get knocked off the stream. But give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Let me just put up game day. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I was just fixing something really quick. Woof. All right. Alrighty, guys. So let me just make sure you guys can hear me. I think you can. Everything looks good. Alrighty, guys. So sorry about that. I just had to fix something really quick. I was almost getting kicked off the stream from the Wi-Fi. For some reason, it like shut off on me. But luckily, my hotspot turned on, so I got lucky there. All right, guys. So alrighty. So Thomas Sapucki's getting his first start as a New York Met, first major league start in his career. Again, the thing that we worry about today is the fact that we need a little bit of length from him. I would expect 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs. I think that's great. I mean, we scored, 23 runs in 2 games in San Francisco. So let's hope we need another big offensive outing today as well. Because I do expect Thomas Sapucki to give up some runs. And, the nerves, I don't know. They clearly have a game plan. I don't know. They might try to jump on the first couple of pitches, since he probably wants to get ahead early in the count. So you're going to see the Giants probably swinging early, just like they have been doing, especially to Chris Bassett. They've been jumping on his pitches early, and he struggled twice against the Giants at home and in San Francisco last night. So let's hope that Thomas Sapucki gives us 5 innings, and I think that's sufficient, especially for his first start. I believe he went 6 innings, the most in the minors so far. So I don't know. Obviously, we don't know his pitch count, what it will be, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be between 75 and 85, around there. So if he gets through a quick couple of innings, he might be able to get 6 innings in, but I'm expecting 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs. And that's okay. I would take that from him. But the offense needs to perform again today. It's just that simple. It's seeming like the Mets are probably going to have to score 6 or 7 runs today to probably win this ball game. And knowing what happened yesterday, we used Diaz, we used Drew Smith. Seth Lugo can be available. Jason Shreve can be available. There's not a lot of guys in his bullpen that, if it's a close game, that you're going to trust to put in there. But as we've seen with Buck Showalter, he would put anybody in any spot at this point, especially when he is limited on the number of guys he can use out of the bullpen. So you got Holderman, even though he pitched 2 innings on the Monday, if I'm not mistaken. The Monday. So let's just hope that the Mets score runs, because I think that's the only way they're going to win, if they score around 5, 6, 7 runs in between that area right there. So with that said, guys, the Mets and the Giants are in a rubber game today. Whoever wins the game obviously wins the series. And as we know with our New York Mets, we only lost 1 series this year, and that is against the Seattle Mariners. So let's see if the Mets can continue that trend of winning more series and end up back home to face the Phillies on Friday, which the game I will be at. So let's look at the lineups, and then when we look at the lineups, I will say what's up to everybody in the chat and also answer some of your questions as well. So we got about 20 minutes until game time. Game starts at 3:45 Eastern time. If you're in, obviously, the West Coast, it starts at 12:45, and if you're in the middle of the country, it is 2:45. And if you're in another country and the time difference is crazy, I wish I can help you there, but the time schedule in your own country if you're from another country. So let's just get the lineups going so we can talk about that. Let me just move this. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button so we can get that stream out to more people before the game starts. And let me just share my screen and we'll be good to go. All right, guys, so the pitching matchup for today is Jacob Junis for the San Francisco Giants, and obviously Thomas Sapucki, his first Major League start in Major League Baseball, and for the New York Mets. And for the lineup for the New York Mets, it looks like this. Brandon Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Starlin Marte batting second, playing right field. Francisco Lindor, who had a great game yesterday, batting third, playing shortstop. DHing today is Pete Alonso cleaning up. Jeff Mcneil, who continues to show why he is definitely an all-star this year and finally back to his 2018-2019 self, batting fifth, playing left field. Eduardo Escobar finally showed some life yesterday with, I believe, 4 hits yesterday. Eduardo Escobar batting 6th, playing third base. Dominic Smith getting the start at first base, batting 7th. Luis Guillorme is back in the lineup again, who's been playing very well for this team, batting 8th, playing second base, and Patrick Mazeika catching, batting 9th. That is your lineup for our New York Mets today. I like the lineup today. Clearly, what Buck Showalter is trying to do is stack guys who had very good games yesterday in this lineup and continue to try to get the hot streak of Guillorme in there as well. Especially this team needs runs today, so probably win this game. 5, 6, or 7 runs will probably be sufficient to win this ball game. Because even though Jacob Junis has a 2.70 ERA, I do expect the Mets to start hitting him early and putting up the runs on the board in the first few innings, where the Mets, for the most part, struggled early in games, but picked it up around the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. And that team's just the way they've been for the most of the year. So for the New York Giants. For the San Francisco Giants, Ruff is batting first, DHing. Flores playing first base, batting second. Yastrzemski batting third, right field. Longoria fourth, cleaning up, playing third base. Estrada, second base, batting fifth. Peterson, left field, batting sixth. Fairchild, center field, batting seventh. Bart, catching, batting eighth. And Walton, shortstop, batting ninth. That is your Giants lineup for today's Game 3 of the series for the Giants against the Mets and Thomas Szapucki. All right, guys, so that's where we are right now. We got a little less than 20 minutes until game time. So what we will do now, as always, is I'm going to say what up to everybody in the chat. And then look through your questions. Ryan, Dominic, Jason, Leroy, Brad, Jose, Helen, let's see, Thomas, Jose, Michael, Edwin, Brandall, Robert, Mohammed, Grant, Eric, Harley, Bobby, Isaiah, Ella. Who else we got? Jesus, Bernard, Steven. What else? Lendog, Robert Soro, Frank, and Victor. All right, guys. Once again, guys, there's 58 people in the stream right now for Mets pregame. And Hector, what's up? Don't forget, guys, I can't see you if you don't say what's up in the chat, and you will get a shout out. But if I don't see you, if you don't say anything, I can't shout you out because I don't know if you're here. South Speed, what's up, buddy? All right, guys. So let me start off from the top and answer your comments. Brian says that was a drop. Disappointing last night, but man, this team has crazy fight in them. Never saw a team consistently fight back from big deficits like this. I agree, Ryan. It was tough last night. As much, we came back. You got to Alrighty, guys. Sorry about that. Ay. Alright. Let's go all the way from here. Alright, guys. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me. Sorry about that. They're doing work on the street and they're kind of messing with the wires. That's why I was trying to go to some type of hotspot, so the Wi-Fi is a little tricky today. Of course. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me. All right, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so you guys can hear me. I'm sorry about that. I probably lost like half your comments. All right, so let me just start as what I was able to get back. All right, Tomas, what's up, Rob? Hope Thomas Sapucki pitches well today. I hope so. Let's hope the Wi-Fi works. That would be nice. They've been messing with the wires all day outside, and I'm just praying that it's gonna work. If it doesn't, I am sorry, and we might have to. I might have to do some cell phone activity to try to get the game in, the live stream in. But no promises, guys. Unfortunately, that's why I kind of like try to go on the hotspot, but that's not the best way to live stream when you're using a hotspot. So let's just hope it gets through. But let's Thomas Sapucki hopefully pitches well. Got about 13 minutes until game time. Ryan, Indiana, a few more that come on. Yeah, I know we were just talking about that with YouTube. But again, it's policies. You know, even if I put restricted comments, some still get through. And again, I think they're just trying to, you know, prevent those type of, you know, comments to just not be in streams, I guess. Michael, what's up, buddy? Brandall, nope. Thomas Sapucki is pitching again. You know, with Scherzer out and Mcneil out still, it's, you know, you gotta have the next man up. All right, let's see what else we have. Grant says we have to win this. How much we have been putting up? Yeah, I agree. You know, you put up 12 runs, you got to win the ball game. I'm sorry, just that simple. You know, I know Bassett didn't have it, and the Mets are losing by 6 runs, and then came back and went ahead. But you have to win. You have to win that game. You know, it sucks. You know, it's demoralizing. You know, I think Diaz will be fine going forward, but again, it's still nice to see a team come back. You know, the pitching as a whole was terrible yesterday. You score 12 runs, you expect to win the ball game. It's just that simple. Bobby Joe says definitely would have put him in without question. I do agree with that. Yeah, Jock Peterson is in the lineup. He is the Mets killer at the moment. But again, he had the game of his life yesterday. But, you know, putting Joely Rodriguez in, and if he hit Joely Rodriguez and tied the game anyway, you just tip your cap. But it's hard to tip your cap to Peterson when the clear move was to put Peterson up against a lefty, and Buck Showalter did not do that. Ella, how you doing? And yes, no Crawford today. I agree, Bobby Joe. If the same situation comes up late in the game again, and Peterson is up with the tying run at the plate or the go-ahead run at the plate, I guarantee you Joely Rodriguez or Chase Shreve is going to be facing him. I guarantee that. And if he does that, he just picking up for the mistake he made last night because he should have done it. Yeah, Eric, I know that was his whole thing to get back at the Dodgers, but again, I don't know if the Giants are a decent team, but they're not as good as they were last year. The pitching's not the same. Obviously, they lost Rodon. That hurt them. So, Gaussman as well. So, you know, they lost 2 big pitchers. So the pitching is not the same. They've been scoring runs, but they're still not hitting a lot of home runs, except, you know, yesterday with Peterson. But they haven't hit a lot of home runs in the season yet, but they've been scoring runs. So, you know, I think the Dodgers are still the team to beat, even though the Padres are very good as well. Jesus says, Rob, why didn't they put Diaz in early? Well, because Diaz has restrictions. He can't do that. I don't think he's good enough to do that. We've seen it before. Callaway did it with him. Rojas did it with him. He might pitch the 8th inning well, but then when it comes to the 9th inning, he'll fall apart. And Diaz ain't the type of pitcher to throw 35 to 40 pitches in 2 innings. It's just not that. He's not that type of pitcher, and the Mets stay away from that because he can't do it. So that's probably the reason why. Again, when it comes playoff time, if you have to do it, well, guess what? It might happen, but we never know. Again, the news that we saw, what was it, yesterday, that DeGrom was throwing long tossing yesterday in Citi Field outfield, so that's good news. The rumor has it is that he might be back by late June if everything goes well, and that would be great. But if Jacob DeGrom gets another big injury, I mean, I don't know what the Mets can do. I mean, it's a hard decision to make. Even if he's out the rest of the year, he's still going to opt out. There's somebody, if the Mets don't take him or re-sign him, there's somebody out there that will sign him and take the risk. There's not many teams out there, but I guarantee you, a team like the Angels, the team like the Dodgers, the team maybe like the Astros might take a flyer on him. And you know what? They think it's a high reward to give him whatever money he's been looking for. But I don't think the Mets are going to let him go. I think they're going to either go with him, pay him, re-sign him, and hope for the best. And again, I think the Mets, look, in my opinion, the Mets are not worried about money. So I think it would be crazy to let him go. I re-sign him and take your chances. That's just my opinion. Well, Jose, I don't know if he was exactly, because he was warming up alongside Drew Smith before Drew Smith came into that game. So even if he threw 5 or 6 pitches, he's still going to get 5 to 7 pitches outside on the mound. I still take my chances. I don't think Joely Rodriguez, he's not one of those guys that needs about 30 pitches to get ready. He's not that guy. He's a guy that gets warmed up quickly. We see it in games past. You got to put Joely Rodriguez in that game. I'm sorry. You just have to. Loose or not, Joely Rodriguez has been ready to go. And he's not a fireball at any, he'll throw 97 miles an hour. So, but at the end of the day, I think the move is to put Rodriguez in there. And even if Rodriguez wasn't ready, that's on Buck Showalter to put him up earlier, knowing the batting order, knowing that Peterson can't come up in a big spot. So Joely Rodriguez, that's Buck's fault again. If you don't want to blame him for not bringing in Joely Rodriguez, maybe he wasn't ready. Well, that's Buck's fault for not getting him ready earlier for that Peterson spot in the lineup. So you could still blame Buck in that scenario. And I do think, Jose, I think this team is very special. This team is different. We've seen Mets of years past. In 2015, after the deadline, they came back in a lot of games as well. But that was just lightning in a bottle. It felt that they were doing it on like, I don't know if it was like pixie dust or something. And 2015 always felt off, even though they were winning games and they got to the World Series. Obviously, it was a special year that nobody was expecting. This year, we're expecting to make the playoffs. We're expecting to go deep into the playoffs. World Series, I don't know, depending on what type of trades we do during the deadline. This team does feel different. These comebacks feel genuine. Like this veteran lineup, this veteran team runs out every ground ball, works at bats, shows the fight. That's great. And that's why I think it's different than years past. And I agree with you, Jose. Jesus, I wouldn't start Lugo. I think we've been there, done that once again. I don't want to do that with Seth Lugo again. He is our guy in the bullpen in the 7th and 8th innings, maybe 6th inning every now and then. I do not want Seth Lugo starting. Unless it's 100% of the emergency, maybe. But I think the Mets would start bringing up more minor leaguer guys. And that's just how we have to deal with it. And then you can't take Seth Lugo in the starting rotation who might go 5 innings. Take him out of the bullpen. Now you have another one less arm in the bullpen that you trust. And I don't think the Mets are going to do that. Well, Eric, I don't think we have to walk Jock Peterson late in the game. You have lefties in your bullpen. Peterson is not good against lefties. He's 1 for 10 this year with no home runs. It's the move to make. Don't walk him, put another runner on, and put pressure on the reliever. Just put the guy in that you traded for specifically that spot last night. And if it happens again, I will bet you the world that a lefty would be in the ball game in a big spot against Peterson. I guarantee you that. Bernard, we do need to win today. We've got about 4 minutes until game time, guys. So I'm just going to try to get through whatever I can. Michael, I agree. Yeah, about Soto. I talked about it on Let's Talk Live on Monday, I believe it was. Yeah, guys, that's exactly what the Mets you do everything you can. If you have to put one of the guys, Beatty or Alvarez, in that trade along with Mauricio, Dominic Smith, and another top 10, you do it. And I said that earlier in that stream. If you have to choose between Beatty and Alvarez, I would choose Beatty to keep in our system because he will be an everyday player. When it comes to a top prospect as a catcher, he might be good, but he's only going to be playing about 135 games for us based on he's a catcher. He's going to miss some games, day game after a night game. Just giving him a rest because he's a catcher, it's something that I don't want to do. But to get Juan Soto, if Alvarez becomes Juan Soto and the Mets still get Juan Soto, you're still getting Juan Soto. So I think you do with everything you have to do, Michael. So I do agree with you with that. Lendog, it is his first start. He made one appearance relief pitching last year. He only made one relief appearance. This is his first start officially. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's hope he pitches well, though. That's important. All right, let me see how many people I can get through. Let's go. Well, you know what? Yesterday might be a plus. I think I just read it. I missed it. But if I think Thomas Apucky has been pitching well in the minors, so I do expect him to pitch. You know, he knows what he's doing out there. It's nice that he's a lefty, so that's pretty cool as well. But I expect 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs, and I think it's hard to expect more from him in his first start. Hey, inebriated, what's up, buddy? All right. Here we go, guys. The game's about to start. So, as always, I just got to share my screen really quick and put up game day. And we'll be good to go. All right, guys. Alrighty. Let me just put that up really quick. And we'll be ready to go. Let me put the sound on. Let me just make sure you guys can hear it. Let me know in the comments, guys, all right?
Sliders. He is a slider ball pitcher for Kansas City. He's only had one career start against the Mets. That was in 2019. He took the loss. Only gave up 3 runs.
All right, guys, here we go. Mets versus Giants. Game 3, rubber game. Let's see what the Mets can do. Roberto, what's up, buddy?
My familiar territory.
Tough loss, but here we go today. We got to win this ball game today.
Longoria was questionable. He's in the lineup at third. Yaz moves over, not Carl. Mike over to right field. His grandson. Center field. And Jock Peterson getting a rare start against the left-hander.
Jock Peterson, who owns the world today after becoming just the 3rd player ever to hit 3 home runs in a game in this ballpark. Kevin Elster did it in the first ever game played.
Once again, guys, the lineup is scrolling on the bottom for the Mets and the pitching matchup. Here we go, guys. First pitch from Junis. Nimmo leading off.
Brandon Nimmo leads off a brand new day against Jacob Junis. Nimmo 3 for 9 in this
Oh, Steve,
series.
that's awesome, buddy. Enjoy.
Streak going. Junis finally ready to throw this first pitch. And it's in for a strike, and we're underway. Nimmo, Marte, and Lindor as the Mets close out their season series against the
All right, I lowered it a little
Giants.
bit, guys, so
So
hopefully it's not too
3-4
loud.
in New York, and split in the first 2 games after a memorable contest last night. And Nimmo swings and misses at the changeup. And it's 0-2.
Junis started in AAA and in 3 starts, gave up 11 runs in 11 innings, but was called up late April and has pitched well for the Giants.
2 to Nimmo.
Yeah, I think a lot of Mets fans that I was with in Colorado flew there to San Francisco for the series. All right, Brandon, here we go.
Against Brandon.
Absolute foul. I think the Giants have had their fill of infield choppers, Garrett.
Well, the Mets filled the dance card with infield hits and slowly hit balls and bloops in that 7-run 8th inning last night. But then the Giants returned the favor. They had their own share of softly hit base hits in the 8th and again in the 9th.
And the victim of that was Rodriguez, the lefty.
And the back foot slider.
Nimmo's been striking out a lot lately.
Nimmo, his first at-bats on this road trip, he has been striking out that first at-bat. It takes a little while for that engine to get warm.
Well, if you missed it last night, so much happened. Mets were down 8-2 after 6. It looked like the game was over. Lindor hit a 2-run homer in the 7th. He wound up with a 6 RBI game, including a 3-run triple in that 7-run 7th inning. Mets went up 11-8. John Peterson hit a 3-run homer off Drew Smith.
I agree.
Mets went up in the 9th, and the Giants scored 2 at the bottom to win it. Marte hits a curler down to first base, but Wilmer Flores snags it.
Victor, are you talking about Zapucki for the Mets? He's been our prospect for a few years, but he got hurt last year with the Tommy John. So.
A loss like that for the day game the next day, would it be disheartening? And I said, no. It would be in a playoff postseason because it's like a quick turnaround.
That's true, Steve. We did win the series against the Giants, but I think we need this series going into a tough series against the Phillies. And, obviously heading into that West Coast trip in June, which is not going to be easy.
They've got to feel great about the way they battled, particularly Lindor, who had himself a huge
Joe, I agree.
With his 6 RBIs
no problem, Victor.
Now it's 32 for the year, which ties him for 4th in the National League. And he has loved facing Jacob Junis. They were both in the American League Central together with Junis in Kansas City and Lindor in Cleveland. And in 36 at-bats, Lindor hitting .500 with 5 home runs. And the back foot slider misses 2-1.
Don't think Junis is not aware of it.
You think? Lindor drove in 2 runs in the first game of this series, so he's got 8 RBIs in the first 2 games. And off-speed pitch fouled at the plate, and it's 2-2.
Well, those 6 RBI games, they help. They certainly help. And, he's got that 2-run home run in the 7th that made it 8-4, but he drove in those big runs, 3-run triple, the bases loaded in the 8th that put the Mets ahead.
Went the other way down the left field line for that triple. He tops one down to Flores at first. Wilmer makes the play. Junis has a 1-2-3 opening inning. Thomas and Bucky ready for his.
All right, guys. So that was a quick 1-2-3 inning for Junis. That sucked. So we're going to the bottom of the first, guys. No score. 1-2-3 inning for the Mets. Thomas Zapucki is taking the mound against the Giants. First time in his career. Let's see what Thomas Zapucki can do. Again, he was one of our top 5 prospects a couple of years ago. Before the Alvarezes, before the Beatties, when Mauricio was our number 1 prospect. Thomas Zapucki was in our top 5 not too long ago. And you know what? Let's see if he can get back to that, because he was very, very good before he got hurt in the minors. I mean, he was our top 5 prospect not too long ago. He's dropped down in some on some prospect list outside the top 10 as of late. Some have him at number 10 or number 9. So let's just see what he can do. Again, he's one of our top prospects, or was one of our top prospects. He's coming back from injury, has pitched well in the minors. Again, you never know until you see the guys in the big league. That's why I think the Mets got to score a lot of runs today. But we shall see. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a hit parade today. I expect a lot of runs to be scored, even though 2.70 is Jacob Junis's ERA right now. We shall see. But I do think Zapucki is going to give up runs. I feel that. I mean, it's very hard to think that a rookie is just going to shut down another team. But we'll see. All right, guys. So we're going to the bottom of the first. No score. Mets and Giants series tied 1-1. This is the rubber game in Pac Bell. It looks beautiful out there today. Thomas Zapucki, the lefty. This season in the minors, 0-3, but he has a 2.86 ERA in 22 innings, 20 hits, 9 walks, 30 strikeouts with a 1.32 whip in 7 starts. So let's see what he can do, guys. Here we go. Zappucky on the mound, first career start.
64% four-seam fastball guy. Throws his changeup around a quarter of the time. Very little mixes in his breaking stuff.
Got a good curveball. Didn't throw it much last year because his elbow was working. Darren Ruff leads off, takes a fastball up and away from Zappucky, ball 1. Well, Ruff 2 for 8 in this series. He's got 28-7 walks this year, 4th in the league. That's why he's batting leadoff for the second time. And Zappucky misses away. It's 2-0.
Harry's, let's hope so.
Last night, he got an RBI, scored 3 runs. Mets had 18.
I agree, Jason.
So the Giants bested them with 19 last night.
We'll see 37 hits in a 9-inning game very often. Zappucky gets that fastball in for a strike. 94
he don't
miles an hour.
throw.
Last year when he came up for his 1 relief outing as a Met, he averaged under 91 miles an hour on his fastball. Remember, he had Tommy John.
So he throws about 94, 95
and
in his fastball.
last year, as is often the case with guys a couple of years past Tommy John, he ended up having nerve transposition surgery. Same happened to Jacob deGrom. Same happened to Steven Matz. And so Zappucky got that nerve moved, and now he's throwing much harder than he did last year.
And he strikes him out. All right.
Strikeout Ruff.
Nice curveball. Yes, Bassett needs to get it together. Ever since James McCann has gone down, Bassett has not been pitching well. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but Bassett, he's at ace right now. We need him. That's for sure. But Thomas Zappucky throws around 95 miles an hour fastball with a nasty curve. So if he locates his fastball and throws that curveball that looks like a strike and then dives down, he's going to be hard to beat. I'm just saying that it's a nasty curveball.
Fouls that one away, and Zappucky lamped up, you'd think, throwing hard. He made that 1 relief appearance last year in June.
Well, you know what? He's an enigma right now. We don't know what he's going to be.
And Zappucky gave up 6 of the runs.
You know, with the injuries the last few years, you know, he lost his momentum as a prospect. You know, he dropped out of the top 10 because of it. But that doesn't mean he's not going to be good.
But here you are again. That's last year.
Well, he would have been here a lot sooner, but for Tommy John, that's drilled into left center.
And Wilmer Flores, as always.
Mcneil, and Wilmer's going to try for 2. Here comes McNeil's throw. It's offline. A good throw, and with Wilmer running.
Wilmer Flores always kills us.
But his throw not even close. And Flores, that's his 9th double of the year.
Wilmer likes the ball down. Look at him go back on his back foot. That's his mechanism. He's a very rhythmic hitter with that sway, I guess you would call it. And Mcneil, he's playing primarily in the infield. You can't expect him to have a very powerful arm in the outfield. So it's important for Mcneil. I'm surprised that Wilmer took a chance here, but I'm sure they're aware of Mcneil.
Yeah, Paris, but you know what? You can rebuild all you want, but at the end of the day, this team is put together as one of the is the oldest team in the league. It's a win now team, so you got about a 2 to 3 year window to win. And sooner or later, the Mets are going to have to make a big trade, and it's going to take prospects. You're going to have to do that. Not saying giving up your big 2 top prospects, but you got to get it done if you want to win. You can't just leave your farm system and go with the guys you have in this team, which is this team is not a World Series roster at the moment. There's too much needed. Hey, Homeland, what's up? I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button.
Both hits last night.
Joe, I don't think it's going to be soon, honestly.
We're to the opposite field.
It might be a starter, but big trades are really not going to happen, and probably until middle of June, late June, at the earliest.
Second base. I don't understand that, particularly Gary with a left-hand pitcher.
Two and one Diaz. Fastball away, and Zappucky behind 3-1. Evan Longoria waiting on deck. The hitting with runners in scoring position.
Joe, it depends on what
phenomenal.
The Mets need at that moment. Right now, I would think they need bullpen. They might need another starter. I think they still need that big bat.
led to a lot of runs. And there's ball 4, and Strumsky's on, and so Zappucki has himself a bit of a mess here in the opening inning, a double and a walk. Now that'll bring up Longoria.
No, you'll see a big blockbuster trades here and there for sure. There's going to be a lot of competition now because of that extra wild card, so a lot less teams are going to be trading, and more teams are going to be trying to add to their roster. You know, obviously teams like the Nationals, the teams like the Diamondbacks, stuff like that. Yeah, Homeland, I don't know. I tried so much. I even emailed YouTube about it. I even went on subscriber mode, and they still find a way to come in. So, I don't know. That's why sometimes subscriber mode is cool. But
Longoria didn't play last night.
Flies
one out to center, and Nimmo easing back to the warning track. Back at the
wow, that wind took that ball.
Well, the wind, I think, got a hold of that.
Wow.
The wind is going straight out to center field.
Jeez.
Longoria got one up over the rim of the stadium into the breeze, and he hits his first home run of the year, a 3-run shot.
Oh.
Here we go again, and it's 3-0 San Francisco.
That was definitely the wind that took that ball out. Jeez.
I'm just judging by Nimmo's reaction to that ball. When he first started back on it, it looked like he had it all lined up, and then all of a sudden, he was scrambling.
Yeah, Nimmo looked like he was going to catch that ball at the warning track. The wind definitely took that. It wasn't a good pitch, but it didn't look like it was going to go out. Like maybe to the warning track. But that wind, boy.
So for Longoria, who had
yeah, well, the Mets. That's why I said, Roberto, the Mets got to score in this game. You know, they got to put up runs.
First home run of the season. They held him out of the lineup last night because he jammed his elbow, trying to dive for a ball on Monday night. Well, first time up today, first pitch he sees from Zappucki, and he loses one over the center field fence, and it's 3-0.
Guys, you got to take it easy with Zappucki. It's his first start. Again, that was mostly the win there. I mean, that's a warning track fly ball. There was not really. I mean, the way Nimmo tracked that ball went an extra 25 feet because of that wind.
Breaking ball misses, and it's 2-2 to Estrada. Peterson on deck. See what he has in for an encore today. 3 on the left side against Estrada, the former Yankee, who's played most of the second base for the Giants. And the backdoor curveball misses, and it's 3-2.
So you got Longoria, who was questionable today, and comes out of the chute with a 3-run home run.
3-2 coming, and that misses badly for ball 4. So 4 straight Giants have now reached base after an opening strikeout. And Zappucki finding
21 pitches so far in the first.
Inning of his first
WFG, all right. Germany, all right. That's cool.
Surprised that Jeremy Hefner has not gone out there to help with Chad. The last thing.
Yeah, Ryan, I remember you saying that, but you know what?
For his big night last night.
The Mets are better than the Giants.
First career 3 home run game.
I just think so. So,
8 runs driven in.
You know, the pitching has been horrible for both teams. It's going to come to who's going to score the most runs in this game. I think that's what's going to happen.
And he takes the fastball high for ball 1.
Again, Peterson has not been good against left-handers. 1 for 10 with 0 home runs. The only reason why he's in the lineup today because of his game yesterday.
4 for 45 in May before last night. Then he happened to have a pregame conversation with Barry Bonds in the Giants clubhouse. They talked for about a half an hour, and it went on so long that 15 minutes before the game was about to start,
Jason, I don't know who's going to be long man. I don't know. Maybe Medina?
Pants on.
That's the only thing I could think of.
You know, he didn't have his uniform pants on. So he had to scramble just to get it together for the first
Paris,
pitch of the game.
They did have the depth. I mean,
but he said that
before DeGrom, before Scherzer, before Mcneil and Peterson and Zappucki are your depth. The guys got hurt. You use 3 of your depth pieces. There's nothing you can do about that. You know, you got 3 starters that's supposed to be in the minor leagues, and now they're up here. So, and that's Mcneil, that's Zappucki, and that's Peterson. So,
this inning is spiraling downward for Thomas Zappucki.
It's like this ball kind of ran. And then you got those catchers that are taught to try to frame, and then they just...
Yeah, that's why I think, like, Medina's probably going to come in for a long relief outing. If Zabucky can't, I mean, he's already at the 25 pitches, 1 out. So,
ball charged to Mazika. 3-1 to Peterson.
AJ, what's up, buddy?
Stuart Fairchild on deck. And Peterson hits one out to right field.
That's gone.
Takes a look, and it's out of here.
Well, Peterson's just hot.
Strikes again.
Wow.
Last night, he homers his first time up today. The Giants have gone deep twice in the opening inning, and they got themselves a 5-0 lead. I gotta tell you, the ball is flying out of here.
The key to the Mets today scoring runs, hit the ball in the air. Because that Peterson shot, he hit that hard, but the wind pushed that one too. Jesus. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. He's definitely going to be batting for sure. Like, he got in on that pitch. He turned on it, but, I mean, it was an inside pitch. It wasn't a bad pitch.
6 at-bats. Wow, he's barely flying around the bases.
NTA, remember, talking about Metro. What's up? Well, Swishy, if you notice, the Yankees are having a lot of problems too with their bullpen as well, and a few position players. It's going around the league. The Giants have no outfielders. Almost all their outfielders on the IL except for Peterson.
With a punch in the gut, see how he responds. Stuart Fairchild takes a strike. Zabucky struck out rough to start the game, but then Flores doubled. Strumsky walked. Longoria hit a 3-run homer. Estrada walked, and Peterson a 2-run homer. And now it's 1-1 to Fairchild, making his second start for the Giants.
Guys, Zabucky's gonna probably stay in there and suck it up. You can't destroy your bullpen because he's not pitching well at the moment. You know, obviously, if it gets worse, let's see how far this ball goes. Look at this. This is a little bit of that was a pop up, a short pop up, and almost about 30 feet from the warning track. That's insane.
Last night, if you missed it.
I believe I've seen someone hit 3 home runs quite a while in one game. That was an impressive one right there. I was down.
Hi, Shivani. How you doing?
That central, and he turned on this one.
That was the tying home run into the Philly Cove in the 8th inning. And now he just added his 4th in 6 at-bats. He's got 11 for the year now. Bucky just trying to find the escape hatch in this first inning, facing the number 8 hitter, Joey Bart. Bart, the catcher, fouls one away, 0-1.
You know, with the nerves and the wind, it's not going to be pretty for Zabucky. But again, the Mets can come back in this ball game. The wind is blowing out everywhere in the outfield. They got to get the ball in the air.
Definitely aided both of the home run balls in this inning. To take anything away from
I agree, Roberto. They need to win this game. After last night, you know, if we would have won the game last night somehow,
31 pitches deep
who would have cared about today? You know, it would have been icing on the cake if we won today. But it would have been house money, playing with house money today if the Mets won last night. No, Rick Porcello, I think, isn't he on the Rays?
You're going to sit on that fastball and wait.
But I think he is with the team.
Look for the pitch you want and strike like a cobra.
3-1 to Bart. Thomas Zabucky, born in
Porcello
the
did
baseball
retire.
hotbed of Toms River, New Jersey, moved to Florida when he was 10.
Yeah, I know people talk about division games are important as well, but every game is important. You know, we had this conversation not too long ago. Every game's important.
And that's outside ball 4, and the inning continues. The 3rd walk of this opening inning.
Yeah, you know what? The nerves are probably kicking in now.
Yet in the Mets bullpen, but there's some stirring around now.
Yeah, that's what the Mets got to do. It's clear. Get in the ball.
On Saturday night in Colorado.
All right, Trevor Williams is warming up, so
ready to start warming up.
Zabucky having a Freddie Krueger first inning.
So Trevor Williams is supposed to start in this Phillies series, possibly, is
the throw to second.
All right, we got it out of the inning.
Tagged out, so
Yay.
on first motion.
Yay.
And that really helps out.
All right.
As he gets the final out of the inning. 1-3-6 on the call.
All right, guys. So 5-0 Giants after the first. Interesting. But again, guys, there's that ball that was hit the center field, the 3-1 home run by Longoria. I mean, that ball should have been at the warning track at the very least. The wind pushed that ball. Again, Szapucki didn't pitch well in the first inning, but the Jock Peterson one was a good pitch. He turned on it. And with the wind, you don't need a lot to get it out. Let's see if the Mets can just start scoring runs. And, it's going to be a high-scoring game. As I said, I believe it is going to be a high-scoring game. This whole series have been high-scoring. So, again, with the nerves and the wind, Szapucki just had a terrible first inning. But you never know. He might come back and pitch 2 more innings well. You don't know. Well, it really does depend because you got that off day on tomorrow. So, they can, switch up the rotation a little bit based on the off day. Making sure nobody, again, Trevor Williams probably can come in this ball game. So, at some point, probably the 3rd or 4th inning. So, it's going to be Walker, Peterson, and Carrasco in the Philly series. So, we'll see. Hopefully Mcneil should be coming back soon. He's on track to come back probably in a week or so. Again, no Scherzer, no DeGrom. Probably Scherzer until July. DeGrom, if everything goes well, late June. We'll see. But 5-0 Giants in the first inning. Again, that's why I think, some people are like, oh, it's yesterday sucked, but they came back. That's why it was important to win that game. You had a 3-run lead in the 8th, and you had a 1-run lead in the 9th. You had to win that ball game because today would have been playing with house money, and it wouldn't have mattered. You took the series. If you win today, great. That's icing on the cake. But again, that's why that game was important last night to win after you came back like that. But we didn't. Now we have to come back again, and we know we can come back. It's just a matter of how many runs are we going to give up. Going to the top of the second, guys. Mets are losing 5-0.
Folks, it's on top of the Twin Peaks, one of the 7 hills of San Francisco. I will throw the question out. What does that remind you of, that tower, folks? If it's the Twin Peaks,
I agree, Paris. I would rather have lost 8-2 yesterday than have them come back and lose the game. It sucked. It made me, wake up a little earlier than I wanted to from work.
Because Jacob Junis has been staked to a 5-run lead. He starts Pete off with a slider. Swung and missed, 0-1. Pete's DHing today.
He was the only guy that didn't get a hit last night.
How could you play the entire game last night and not get a hit?
But he got a big RBI, which we thought was, at the point, an insurance run with a sacrifice fly.
It was the 7th run in that 7-run 8th.
And they've been pounding him with that slider, Garrett. And Pete's been kind of fishing. That pitch is serious. What am I saying? He had a tremendous first game
with 3 hits, including a 3-run homer on Monday night. Took the 0 for last night. 41 RBIs now, leads the National League, but he is really chasing that breaking ball out of the strike zone right now.
Which makes me think is if you pound
the Mets got to stay within himself.
Right there,
don't try to, hit a 5-run home run. Just get base hits, get on base.
Continues to be raging hot.
Trey Turner enjoying his return.
Well, you got to stay off his slider. He's not throwing that slider for strikes. You're just swinging at it. You stay away from that slider. He's not throwing it for a strike. So
Escobar, Mets fought from 6 runs down last night to take a lead.
You got a whole game to come back.
And another. They're down by 5 runs as they come to bat here in the second. After Junis worked a 1-2-3 first.
Now
that time he laid off the slider, and it's 2-2.
Slider, and now it's 2-2. The count gets even. You just can't live out there, and Pete starts. You got to pound in to keep him honest. And let's see.
I agree, committee. I said that earlier in the pregame.
Here, if he wants to live on that outside corner.
Junis is a guy who generally is around the strike zone.
Look, even if Joey Rodriguez would have gave up the home run to Peterson, it was still the right move to make.
Over the course of his career, he's been very vulnerable to the home run ball. For 2 years, he was a full-time starter in Kansas City, 18 and 19, and he gave up 63
I agree,
home
Steve.
runs
They're
in
taxed
those
as well.
2
They haven't
seasons.
pitched well either.
Throws strikes, and they hit the ball in the air against him.
Every pitch with the slider to Pete Alonso right now.
Junis,
Still hasn't thrown it for a strike.
first year with the Giants.
There you go, Pete. Don't swing at that crap.
Changeups in the first inning.
So good eye by Pete. And
Right here, just look middle in. You got to protect, obviously.
Joey Bart using the pitch com. Push button.
You know what? But you know what, Paris? Some people said that after the Seattle series. After we lost the series, people thought that we were going to start a losing streak.
Of course.
And Pete rockets one down the line.
Oof.
With foul.
Another change up. Another change.
Well, I find it interesting that Junis, who had thrown his changeup only 11% of the time coming in, threw his slider 54% of the time. 7 of his 11 pitches in the first inning were changeups. It's rather odd. And only threw 1 fastball in that inning. So he has come out with a little different game plan.
Beckham, the Yankees are coming back to earth. With their injuries, they already taxed the bullpen, and you already see the damage it's causing.
This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Alonso. And Pete strikes out the slider.
You knew that was coming with that slider.
Junis has his second strikeout.
Well, he did not come in once here. I mean, that was his best slider to Pete. Pete fished and got behind in the count by chasing the slider a foot outside, 6 inches. But this one's a pretty tough pitch right there. Might have been a ball, but tough to lay off.
I mean, as good as the Yankees are, as some people might say, the Mets are what? A game and a half worse than them? I mean, the Yankees had to have an all-time winning streak
Comes after Pete next at bat.
just to catch up, just to pass the Mets in record-wise. But look at all the injuries from the Yankees bullpen. And I said this about a month ago. They're going to tax their bullpen because they used them so much early on. And that's exactly what happened.
Back up to 323.
They got 3 injuries in the bullpen. One guy they lost for the year.
In the National League.
Stanton's hurt now. LeMahieu's hurt now. Now they got to play the Rays for 4. Rangers in 7. Rangers in 6, Larry. Let's go.
Second of the majors. Pops one up in the shallow left, and Jock Peterson puts it away for the second out. So Junis has retired the first 5. Remnant fun facts on Jeff Mcneil, Little League teammate of Mets catcher James McCann. You know how good a golfer he was. And he hasn't participated in the hot dog eating contest. After all, it comes during the baseball season, but he has been enjoying
Beckham, they don't have a good manager.
watching Kobayashi and Joey Chestnut, all the big hot dog eaters.
Aaron Boone uses the analytics, and that's it. The Yankees are a game and a half better than the Mets. I mean, you got to relax with that.
Escobar had 4 hits last night. It's like he's starting a little resurgence. He tops this one, though, into the shift.
Oh, looking like
And
another 1, 2, 3.
Throw him out, and that retires.
All right, going to the bottom of the third, 5-0 Giants. Yeah, we already know. We trade for Peterson, it'll suck for us. That's just how it goes, guys. So 5-0 Giants going to the bottom of the second. Yeah, Roberto, I agree. Again, Pete Alonso, that's all he was throwing was sliders. He didn't throw 1 slider for a strike. Again, that's Pete Alonso's Achilles heel. When he's not on a crazy hot streak, he's swinging at those sliders, and that's what he's been doing. He's the only one that didn't get a hit last night, when everybody and their mother got a hit last night. So, but the game's not looking good so far. But again, let's see if Zapucki can come in the second inning, and the nerves are probably a little bit gone right now. He's probably extremely hyped and energetic, and the blood was flowing. So let's see if you can take a breather and go into the second inning and just keep the game at 5-0. So I think we all expect the Mets to score some runs. It's just a matter of how many. I don't know. Last time I checked, guys, you think there's a Yankee channel, right, that people can go to? Yeah, they're a game and a half better than us. Everybody's going, and let's be honest, guys. The Yankees have injuries now, and they're playing the team that they can never beat in the Rays the next 4 games. So we'll see the first time they're facing an actual good team this year, because they really haven't faced anybody good. But at the end of the day, the Mets either worry about the Mets, or the Yankees got to worry about the Yankees. Until we face each other in July, it really doesn't matter at this point. And guess what? Both teams are in first place. And there's really, obviously there's things to complain about from both teams. The Yankees taxed their bullpen, and now these guys are hurt. So we'll see. All right, guys, here we go. And it's already looking like a double for... Well, that's not a good start.
Today, first pitch swinging, has himself a double.
Well, Buck Showalter would like to get some length from Kentucky.
No, Yolfies, I agree with that.
Pitch in, turns on it, down and in.
But there's really no good teams in the American League except for like 3 teams. So, granted, you beat the teams on your schedule. That's what you have to do. But Yankee fans are already, calling World Series when you haven't really faced anybody. Again, beat up on the Rays, and then you're going to start getting a little bit more respect. But Yankee fans should be shaking the pom-poms for a regular season that you always do good in, but you've failed in the playoffs the last couple of years. Yes, the National League is better than the American League. But again, the Yankees are beating who they have to beat. But Yankee fans, all even at my job are saying the same thing. Hey, Thomas, what's up? Shit, I hope you guys beat up on the Rays.
Bucky first was drafted by the Mets in 2015. He made an instant impression, mostly because...
it's nice that both New York teams are on top, but you know what? They both have injuries right now, so it can look ugly in the next week or so. But we'll see. It'd be pretty cool. Both teams stay on top the entire year.
So he's drafted in 15. Tommy John in 17. Missed all of 18. Pitched about half a season in 19. And then 20, of course, there was no minor league season. And then he had his season shortened by more elbow surgery last summer. So he's barely pitched. And he gets that fastball over for strike 2-2. But he was off to a fast start for Syracuse this year. 7 starts, 2.86 ERA. But the caveat there is that in those 7 starts, he threw a total of only 22 innings. There were as many as 71 pitches in his last start.
All right, nice pitch by Zapucki, striking him out.
Ruff struck out for the second time.
All right, let me see who's pitching for the Phillies. I think Wheeler went 2 nights ago, so he might pitch the last game. It's all the Phillies all have TBD and MLB on the MLB app, so we have to wait.
Grounded over the bag. That's a fair ball past Escobar and down the line. Walter around third. He'll come in to score. Flores heads for second, and he's in standing with an RBI double. Second double of the day for Wilmer, and it's 6-0 San Francisco. Escobar hugging that line as he always did, and somehow Wilmer was able to squeeze it between Escobar and the line.
Down and in, I bet, or middle. Down and in, where Wilmer loves it. And it does get by hit too hard, Garen.
Well, this is the thing that we worried about and why I think last night's game was so important to win, because it damn sure gave the Giants momentum winning that ball game when they basically gave it to the Mets.
And now Strumsky takes curveball and sails over his head.
So that's the biggest problem as well, is that you don't want yesterday's game to start a spiral. That's not what you want. Well, Trevor Williams is warming back up in the bullpen again. 42 pitches for Zapucki.
And 4 of the 5, or actually all 5, have been for extra bases, 3 doubles and 2 home runs. It's a good change-up that time down into the bat of Strumsky, and it's 1-1.
Definitely was a crazy game
So
for
far,
sure.
that change-up has been his best pitch. Strumsky walked his first time up after reaching base 5 times last night. And he gets this one out.
There goes that wind again.
To the warning track, back at the wall, and that's out of here.
Wow. Jesus. How did that ball go out?
With a 2-run homer, his 4th of the year. The Giants' 3rd home run in the first 2 innings, and it's 8-0. And the ball is just sailing out of here.
And in center field, too, Gary, where you think there would be a crosswind that would knock it down. And here comes Jeremy Hefner again. And that wind is going out to right field.
Huh.
Almost foul pole to foul pole. And
I thought he got that off the end of the bat.
He hit that ball off the end of the bat. Like,
but a pitch that's over the middle of belt high.
Well, it's only 391 to center field. They shortened the fences here when they put the bullpens out there.
yeah, I mean,
Runs sail over that center field wall.
I don't know. That wind, man. Holy Christ.
Well,
Again.
No consolation.
He off the end of the bat. That's crazy.
Wacky tax in his first big league start.
This is a beating. And, boy, I feel for him.
Well, it is not in anybody's best interest to keep him around in this game much longer. Evan Longoria takes outside. Trevor Williams is up, and as soon as he's ready to go, he'll be in the game. Oh, hi there. It's nice to have you in the ballpark.
It looks like we signed that earlier.
We did. It's a lovely sign. Keith, you have fans wherever we go.
You too. They look.
Again, the Mets are in a bind here. They needed a pitcher. He was the only one in his starting spot today. So that was the problem as well. And, he's clearly not ready. He missed over the last 2 years, he didn't pitch a lot at all with his injuries. So, he's still finding his way in the minors. That's just for sure.
Here's the 2-1. It's up into Longoria, who had a 3-run homer over that center field fence. His first time up, his first home run of the year, coming in his 37th at bat.
Yeah, Roberto. I don't think Buck Show. I agree with you, Roberto. That's not good. Wow.
Another home run, second of the day for
Jesus.
The 4th home run in the first 2 innings, and this is just a beatdown.
Well, this is what happens when you lose. Oh, they're taking him out now.
Boy, oh boy. 9-0 San Francisco, and Buck Showalter will pull the plug.
And this is against the wind, so this is well struck. They're turning on his fastball in. Wow.
Well, nothing you could do there.
First opportunity to start a game in the major leagues, and it could not have gone worse. An inning in the 3rd, 9
Trevor
runs,
Williams is coming
7
in.
7 hits, 4 home runs. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. We'll be right back.
Well, I don't think it should have been all guys on deck, but again, that's the reason why yesterday's game. And I know some people in the chat said, yesterday, it sucked, but we come back tomorrow. But there was all that momentum that the Mets had in that game was just all the air out of the balloon after they lost that game. And today was what I worried about. Again, you can't control a pitcher giving up 9 runs in 2 innings. It's just, what can you do there? You know what I'm saying? But even if it was a good pitching duel, it really doesn't, the Giants got all that momentum for winning that game last night. Again, what you don't want is them to take that momentum and, that air out of the balloon and go into today's game and then the Philly series and then starting to just fall apart. But we'll see. So Trevor Williams is coming into the game. Zapucki is out after giving up 9 runs. And again, this team should have won yesterday. That's the bigger problem when it came to today. If we would have won yesterday, we would be all right. today sucks. All right. Probably expected something like that. But again, that's why yesterday's game was so important. But I mean, you saw yesterday, if you saw the game yesterday or you saw the end of the game yesterday, the look on their faces, they showed a close-up of Lindor, they showed a close-up on Marte in that game. Both of them after that loss, their faces just looked demoralized after that game. After that huge comeback, taking the lead twice in the 8th and 9th inning, and you lose that ball game, it has to take something out of you. I don't care how good you are. It takes a lot out of you. And it's, can the bats come back? Yeah, of course. They could score some runs, but, for the people in the chat that said, oh, yesterday happened, you could lose again. And then come out today, and then a game like this happens, and you lose the series, well, that's a problem. All right, guys, here we go. Trevor Williams in a ball game.
Literally the school of hard knocks.
Mets had a starting pitcher named Brent Hinchliff a number of years ago who made one start in Milwaukee that kind of went that way, but that wasn't his major league debut. He had pitched in the American League. But, boy, lucky. I mean, he walked 3 batters, which hurt. The wind was blowing out, which hurt. But 9 runs is 9 runs.
I recall David Cohn's first start where he got shellacked in Shea Stadium.
Well, put it this way, guys. I'd rather lose 9-0 than the Mets come back and tie the game and lose in the 9th inning again. Let's just put it that way. Because that's even more heartbreaking. Paris, it's not the worst pitching staff. You got 3 guys hurt. What are you going to do? You can't do nothing about that. You only have so much pitching depth. That's it. The Mets are using all their pitching depth that they got. Peterson, McGill, Zapocki, Trevor Williams is all your pitching depth in your minors. Guess what? They're all pitching now because of the injuries.
Is it 4 home runs and driving 10 runs?
And that gives him 11 home runs.
Well, Victor, you try to keep him in as long as possible because of the fact that you don't want to waste your entire bullpen, even though there's an off day tomorrow.
He had 14 runs batted in for the season. Now he has 24.
Very deep in the box, as deep as he can get on the line, slightly open stance.
And the changeup, did he go? He did. Third base umpire Roberto Ortiz said he swung 1-1. I thought Trevor Story was hot. Story had another home run.
Well, you know what? They could have used the Mets position player to pitch last night too. But guess what? The team came back.
It's awfully good.
It's like a drag race. Big Daddy Lipscomb down the shoot. Quick.
4 seconds, stop fuel.
Yes.
Throw out the parachute.
Showing my age.
Only one question for you.
Yes.
What's a funny car?
I don't know.
Because you'd always hear those ads.
I know.
Hey, Michael, what's up?
Raceway Park, right? And they'd always talk about funny cars, and I never having never gone to watch drag racing in person, I didn't know what a funny car was.
I don't think funny cars are drag racing. I think it's
ball 4.
Hey, look, guys, they walked out Peterson.
Shirley Muldowney. They made a movie out of her. Well, those are kind of humorous cars, but they're not funny cars.
Nice teeth.
There's Stuart Fairchild just flying out to center field in the first inning.
Uh-oh. There goes the wind. Hey, the wind kept it in. All right. Yay. We're out of the second. All right, guys. 9-0 Giants and going to the top of the third. Again, that was terrible by Zapucki. Again, the first 2 home runs, the wind clearly took those, but again, you gotta figure it out, and he didn't. Now Trevor Williams is gonna be the long man probably no matter what. All right, Sean, what's up, buddy? But you know what? Now Trevor Williams is going to be the long man, hopefully go 4 or 5 innings. And he's probably not going to be available in probably the first game or 2 of the homestand. So, we got to hope Carrasco, Walker, and Peterson that will be pitching against the Phillies most likely, do what they got to do and give us a little bit of length there. But you know what? It is what it is at this point, guys. The Mets with the injuries are using their extreme depth in the minors. Peterson, Mcneil, Trevor Williams, and now Zapucki. When you got injuries, these are the guys that you have for your depth pieces that already in the end of May, you used all of them. So there's not much you have to do. This is why the Mets offense has to pick up the slack. Again, 9 runs in 2 innings. It's like, all right, if the Mets lose and the offense doesn't come back in this ball game, I mean, can you really blame them? They scored let's see so far, 23 runs in 2 games so far. So, I expect the Mets to score a couple of runs here. Maybe make it interesting. I don't know, but there's gonna be a quick trigger for the Giants to win this ball game after going out to a 9-0 lead in 2 innings. So going to the top of the third, guys, Giants lead 9-0, but we'll see. Here we go.
Rookie of the year in
it's all good, Sean. Everybody's busy. It is what it is, man. I appreciate you checking in, though.
25 home runs.
Yeah, Rental, but you got to understand, too. We have injuries. It's not like this is the rotation they wanted to come in with into the season.
42 runs and 46 home runs. And also hit 311 that year.
And then they traded him to the Cardinals, and he was
part
of their championship team in '67 and won the MVP in his first full season with St. Louis.
And drove in 111 runs.
Oh, sorry, guys. I got to put up the game. Sorry about that.
91.
He was traded for Ray Sadecki, who wound up with the Mets on their '73 National League Championship team. And then the Cardinals traded him to the Braves for Joe Torre.
Well, right now you got to pay a premium for pitching. If you're willing to give up a top prospect, you're not going to trade a bag of balls for a 5th starter.
Right? Was it 73?
You look what the Mets are doing. Mcneil from the Reds, Montas from the A's. You're going to pay a premium for trying to get a starting pitcher so early. All right, we got a leadoff walk here. Slowly but surely, things can happen. Let's get it done, guys. Let's see if we can come back.
Luis Guillorme. There are the retired numbers for the Giants.
Giants have the most Hall of Famers of any team. I did not know.
What are the Yankees?
Is that true? That's what I've heard from my producer. Maybe it's the National League.
I don't know.
Yeah, no matter what I do, I even complained to YouTube about it. Subscriber mode, restricted comments. They just get on. It's annoying. It really is. And sometimes I can't put him a timeout or block him either. It's just hilarious.
Last 19 at bats, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike from Junis, and it's 0-2. Guillorme getting the start at second base today. Didn't start the first 2 games of the series, but I'm trying to get him in there as often as possible. Buck referred to Guillorme the other day as irregular, or maybe it was an irregular regular, and Guillorme said, "Well, I'm getting
guys. We're 8 games up in the division,
but I'm getting
losing the series. Remember, if you lose the game 9-0, it's not like we lose 6 games in the standings. It's only 1 game, and it's 1 series. It's a second series loss.
It hits it on the ground. The out at second, and the turn off the bag, and Guillorme is safe at first.
So we do stand corrected, Gara. The Yankees have the most. And
Again, the Mets are allowed to lose the series, guys, no matter how bad it might look. And the runs, it's only one game.
Yeah, I figured that was probably the case.
So, of course.
The Cardinals have the third most.
Yeah, Thomas, that was. I don't think I've seen a worse start in a while, to be honest.
And which hat would you wear if you went?
I have no say in that.
No.
It's picked by the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's right, because of the Wade Boggs thing, right? Because Boggs wanted to go in as the Tampa Bay Ray, right?
I thought Dave Winfield had something to do with that as well.
Yep, I agree. Rodriguez should have went in for Peterson, for sure. But again, if Peterson would have hit the home run,
Zika, that came up the other day.
What can he do?
Because, the Orioles gave.
It is what it is. Yesterday is over with. You lost.
Right.
Find a way to come back today. Who knows? Hey, Ken, I've been in Colorado in the Mets series.
Now they're giving his number away.
He was quite the pitcher. He was very
Yeah, Joseph, I know. Again, he's been hurt for the last 2 years.
Rogers, great curveball.
And, he was pitching pretty well in the minors, but he hasn't pitched in 2 years, so he's just not ready yet. There we go. That looks like a base hit.
For the Mets' first hit. Yorme goes to third. Mazika will stop at first with a one-struck single. And the Mets start the long climb back.
Exactly, Brad.
Well, Mazika likes the ball belt high up. He stays level.
Again, and just remember, guys, for the amount of runs that were scored, the Giants gave up a ton of runs. 25 runs. 23 runs in 2 games.
So how they say
the Giants bullpen is just as taxed.
Comes to the ballpark, you might see something you've never seen before. Last night was the 181st
Ken, I agree.
time in Mets history that they'd scored 12 or more runs.
Oh, yeah, Robert, for sure. But I do think the Mets are better than the Giants. Just because they might win a series against us doesn't mean that they're better. Look, the Giants are getting healthier, that's for sure.
Right? So that was yesterday.
But the Giants aren't the same team as last year either.
Never happened before. So here's today. The Mets are down 9-0 in the third inning. Do you know, in their history, the Mets have never come from 9 runs down to win. The largest deficit they've ever made
I agree,
in
Larry.
any game in their 61 years is 8 runs.
Oh, I was saying it the whole stream so far about Buck should have brought in Jolie Rodriguez in that spot. That was on Buck there for sure. But we also had a lead in the 9th with Diaz blowing it. So
with this team, they never die.
They got plenty of time, that's for sure.
Oh, Robert, that's for sure. But you could say that about any team. If the Mets had Scherzer and DeGrom
taking the lead
in this rotation, who would have probably been pitching in this series, the Giants might not even had a chance. So.
And so, in order to keep this streak alive of winning games,
the Giants. I don't know how they did it last year. It was mostly on pitching. But all the quality hits they got and every move that Kapler made worked. This year, a little different so far.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, but they're still playing 9 innings. I know. Grounded slowly. Estrada gets the out at second.
All right, we got 1 run.
Comes home, and so
yes!
The comeback has begun.
Comeback has started, guys.
Give them an RBI is 17th.
Yeah, again, guys, the reason why the Mets are having a hard time making trades for a starting pitcher, like a number 2 or number 3 starting pitcher, like Montas or Mal, it's like it's going to be hard because you're going to. Right now, if you make a trade, a team knows you're desperate. They're going to try to get. They're trying to fleece you, and Epler is not going to get fleeced. This is not Brody Van Wagenen.
That's never come back in that game, right? Got rewarded by getting sent down. Happens every time. That's not right. You're one of those fungible, optionable relievers.
Yeah, Scott, they were in top 3 in home runs last year. This year, that has been down, and their pitching hasn't been as good as it was last year. Everything worked out great for the Giants last year. Every button that was pressed was worked, and that's why it was so amazing. Because, the Giants weren't even picked, so we got 1 run in that inning, going to the bottom of the third, 9-1 Giants. Oh yeah, you know what? And that's the reason why committee about the fact that the reason why it's so important for a team in the Central and a team in the East to win their division, because it's going to be very hard to get a wild card spot when you got three teams in the West, in the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants, that can all win 95, 97 plus games, and there would be hardly any shot to win a wild card spot if three teams in the West make the playoffs. And now you only got one spot for a wild card spot, and that's going to be between teams in the Central and the East. That's why winning the division in that spot is extremely important. And I said that in the beginning of the season. Well, you know what, Thomas? The reason why Williams didn't start is because he might, because of the off day, might have been getting a start in the Phillies series at home. But plans changed when Zapucki basically laid an egg. Yeah, but Scott, if you look at the numbers, and Gary Cohen said it on the stream as well. I mean, on TV, their home runs are down. They're hitting a lot of home runs, but they aren't on the pace they were last year. And on top of that, I mean, you lost Rodon and Gaussman. That's a big blow to your pitching staff. Again, the Giants are hanging in it, no doubt about that. I don't think the Giants are winning the division. I do think they're a playoff team, a wild card team for sure. But I mean, if they can get everything like they did, like every button that was pressed last year, they definitely pressed every button, and it just everything worked last year. Can that happen again? Of course. All right, 91, bottom third, Giants leading.
First big league start. Last night, Chris Bassett gave up 8 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. Our buddy Jacob Resnick passes along this stat. Mets starting pitchers allowing 8 or more earned runs in back-to-back games. Last time it happened was 2015 to John Neese and Bartolo Colon. The time before that it happened.
Again, Jesus. Again with Seth Lugo. If you take Seth Lugo out of your bullpen, that's one less arm you have in your bullpen. And then when Seth Lugo only pitches 5 innings because he's not going more, now you got to figure out your bullpen again. And that's why they're not doing that. Yeah, Rodon is pitching tomorrow, yes.
Rick Reed, Al Leiter, Bobby Jones. So it even happens to the best.
And when Bartolo didn't have it, he didn't have it. I mean, he'd just get hammered early.
Yep. Joey Bart drew a walk, then was caught stealing to end the first inning when Zapucki picked him off. And Williams threw a sinker, and Bart bounced it into the ground. It's 0-2. Donovan Walton on deck, and then Darren Ruff for the Giants, who started last night with a 5-game losing streak and were 1 out away from making it 6 in a row. Rallied in the bottom of the 9th to win, and now have a 9-0 lead in the 3rd inning today. So look at the Spectra Mobile high-speed pitch. Trevor Williams never dreamed he would make it to the Spectra Mobile high-speed pitch today. Swing and a miss, and Williams with a 4-seamer strikes out.
Well, Williams is pitching well so far. I don't know if the Mets need 3 bullpen arms. I mean, you could say that for about 95% of the league.
Give a couple of 2-1 homers in Denver on Saturday night.
They need 1 or 2 for sure.
Badly, considering where he was pitching.
But the injuries to the starting rotation, he has been thrust into the starting rotation. But really, he's been fantastic before the people went down in middle relief. He's done a fine job.
And Donovan Walton, who swung at the first pitch he saw after being called up, double he swings at the first pitch this time and fouls it off.
Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, hit on that like button.
Giants sent Kevin Patlow down and brought up Walton today to give him an extra left-hand batter, and it just happens that.
Well, if we win today's game, they would be even crazier than yesterday.
28 today, originally drafted by Seattle, and he had See, he's played 38 big league games over the course of 4
I
years.
mean, you really have to think. I mean, the Mets bullpen has not been terrible. I mean, let's be honest. This series, nobody's pitched well at all.
Conversation between the Giants and
it's just one of those series that nobody can get anybody out.
made like 3 deals.
Again, Diaz has been good this year. Really good this year.
It's funny how that works with GMs.
Again, obviously the Mets probably need a bullpen arm or two for the deadline, but you're not getting those guys now. It's just not happening. Every team is rolling with what they have. And that's just how it is in baseball until probably mid to late June when some trades might happen, and definitely in July into the deadline in August. Ken, we've been talking about this for how long? 2 weeks now? These guys need a day off.
Ed Lynch.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're playing every freaking day.
That's right.
Well, they get a day off tomorrow, Ken. But everybody does too. So.
July 9th ceremony.
Oh, that's great. How big is your guest list?
Yeah, Jimmy, I feel bad for Zapucki too. Again, he's been injured with Tommy John surgery and the nerve replacement, the nerve readjustment in his elbow as well in the last 2 years. So, it's a guy who hasn't pitched a lot in 2 years. So he has a lot of making up and getting back. He's basically, if you really think about it, a guy who needs a little bit more innings in his career. Oh, Jose, that's tough.
Players can wear it, but the fans can still sport the number.
I mean, the Mets are, they're not struggling. If you can say the Giants are struggling too. There was a couple of Giants in the chat just now.
Walton flies one toward the left field line. Long run for Mcneil. Reaching
Nice catch. Jeff McNeil might have got hurt.
And Escobar immediately says, "Get the trainer out here."
He's grabbing his wrist.
McNeil in a
it was a nice catch, but he might have got hurt.
Out and making a brilliant catch, but he is hurt.
Okay, I think he's okay. What a catch. All right, Jeff. 9-1 and still trying to put his body on the line to make that catch. That's why you love Jeff McNeil. He looks okay. All right, good job. Nice ovation by the Giant fans, too. Excellent catch. I heard about Josh Hader leaving because unfortunately his wife is going through a tough pregnancy. What a catch.
Happened here. He makes the catch, slides in.
Hit that left knee really hard.
Yep.
Ouch.
His face
too.
He got face planted.
Oof. What do you think? You take him out in the 9-1 game? Just to be on the safe side?
If he's not hurt, I would.
Ouch.
Boy, that left knee took a hard impact.
He smoked his face. That is just a tremendous effort.
He's staying in.
He's staying in. All right, Jeff.
Look at this.
Yeah, I think he hurt his face more.
What an effort.
But excellent catch. To hold on to the ball as well.
Fabulous season in every regard. Obviously, his hitting has been phenomenal.
Just imagine if the Mets somehow come back in this ball game and win. That's going to be the catch of the game. And you're going to start with that. If that doesn't pump you up.
Sunglasses on. Sunglasses.
Nice play. Love it.
Wall. Cut your nose.
You're losing, Drizzy?
He's getting saluted by the fans in left field, and he just acknowledged that. With the Giant fans standing up and giving him a nice hand.
What an effort.
Now, I did not see the umpire. Was that a fair ball? Because it was really, really close to the line.
I didn't see the.
It looked like a fair ball where he caught it.
Let's see.
You're not going to see it this year.
In real time, that looks nasty.
Really close. Let's see. I think it's a fair ball.
Oh, that would have been a fair ball, too. Nice play.
He hits his knee there and plants his face pretty good right there.
Man, like a rag doll.
Wow.
But he takes a licking and keeps on ticking. It's like a giant.
You know what, Jesus? I think he's doing pretty good in
Darren Ruff, who struck out twice
Los
already
Angeles.
in this game. In many ways, that play and that player epitomizes what we've seen from this team over the first 45 games. It's 9-1, playing out of position.
Oh, absolutely, Robbie. You got a lot of guys out.
Ounce of effort.
You got to come back. Is it going to be enough? I don't know.
Yourself at risk, and you bounce back up. That's kind of the way this team has gone now over this first 45 games or so.
It's not an impossible play, but an extremely difficult play with negotiating that tight fence there. Not a lot of space. And
well, I mean, in 19 games, he has a 4 ERA, 0-2, 18 innings pitched. So he hasn't pitched well this year.
This team hustles. It's got grit. It's got New York written all over it.
Swing and a
all right. Well, nice pitching by Trevor Williams. Going to the top of the foot, 9-1 Giants. Again, you keep him at 9. You just never know with this team. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, clearly, apparently Loop was, again, I don't think it was with Loop. Again, the Mets wanted to turn over the roster. They didn't want any toxic environment, and it was obvious by not signing the guys that a lot of people wanted. Some people wanted Baez back. Some people wanted Stroman back. A lot of people, almost everybody wanted Loop back, but we found out that Loop was another toxic guy in the clubhouse as well. And you know what? It's to pay a guy a premium for a guy who had a career year last year, who in his career is like a 3.5 ERA in his career, 3.3 ERA in his career. You're not going to pay a crazy premium when with bullpens over the last 10 years. Usually it's a hit or miss when it comes to a pitcher. One year they can be great. The next year they can be terrible. And look at Loop right now, 18 games so far. He has a 4 ERA, so he hasn't been good. For what did he get? $10 million, $9 million from the Angels. Again, yeah, New York, that's true too. He drank a lot. Everything, he had that Busch beer every time after a game. Again, he's allowed to drink. He pitched great last year, so clearly drinking wasn't the problem. But when it comes to bullpen arms, there is no way that you can guess if a pitcher is going to be good or not in the. I mean, who's really have been good consistently over the years besides like a Josh Hader? A Taylor Rogers of the Twins before he got traded was consistently good for the last couple of years. But again, bullpen arms are a hit or miss, and it's just hope you get the guys at the right time. So. Well, I mean, that was the 90s. I mean, everybody drank and took steroids then. So all right, Mcneil, he looks like he's okay. So excellent. That's nice to see. Top of the foot, 9-1 Giants.
As he comes to the dugout, Kirby wants to know he's all right.
What you didn't see there is that Met fans are sitting over the first, and then the Mets dugout, they all gave him a whole section gave him a standing ovation. Very nice.
Yeah, but Robert, they also have to make the playoffs as well. It's not going to be easy.
Fourth against Jacob Junis.
Unfortunately, you're in a division that is tough as hell.
Rounded out his first time up.
I agree, Christian, 100%.
He's got a run in the third after a leadoff walk to Dom Smith.
I'm giving a little bit of a loose leash to Diaz, but see, I'm not blaming Diaz last night as much as I blame Buck not bringing in Rodriguez in that spot against Peterson.
That's a big hit right there.
The 6 RBIs for last night.
Closers are going to blow 1-run ball games. The way the game was going yesterday, it just seemed like somebody was going to blow a game. It was just that simple. But I think Diaz has been too good to kill him for yesterday.
The Giants didn't start the year in their rotation. 2 relief outings, now 4 starts. He gets a slider in for strike 3-2.
For a 3-1 backdoor slider with an 8-run lead. Okay.
No, I'm watching the game. I stick it out, guys.
So pretty good bat, and he gets
there we go. That's a double.
Cracks one into the corner. Strumsky runs it down.
All right, guys. So we are hitting now. Again, to keep the Giants to 9 runs. It's only the 4th inning. The Giants probably score more runs just the way the series has gone.
That's a Scooby dog right there.
Look, we know what Diaz's Mets career has been so far, but you can't kill him for, he has 3 blown saves this year. One of them against the Nationals was because of errors of the infielders. The other one was obviously Arizona, even though we came back and won. And yesterday we lost that first game. So the first game we lost.
Maybe a lot all at once. It worked last night with Alonso. And he takes a first pitch slide.
The second game, the two blown saves out of the three, we lost. So again, Diaz has been too good this year to kill him. But he has to prove it in if and when the Mets get to the playoffs. That's when the test is going to come. Or late in the season to win the division. Lindor is heating up. We need him to start heating up. We need that protection around Alonso. Yeah, Jesus for sure. But again, he got that double play. But even he said post game, he thought the game was over after the double play. You can't think like that as a closer. A walk here, a base hit here, another walk here. Guess what? They're back in the ball game. And that's what happened yesterday.
Violent encounter with the sidewall. McNeil's going to get the rest of the day off.
All right, McNeil is coming out of the game. Again, I don't blame Buck for doing that. Jankowski's going to be pinch hitting for him or playing in his spot. Because, listen, you don't want to take a chance right now. You are losing by 8 runs. You don't want to take anything where he steps the wrong way. His knee buckles to get him out of the game. I agree with that move.
Obviously, they've given the concussion test to Jeff, and he's still in the dugout, so I would assume he passed, but better course to get him out. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond.
Damn shift.
And he throws out Alonso. Therefore has to hold one away. Streaking and struggling. Driver on the majors brought to you by Audi. We mentioned Trevor Story. 7 home runs in his last 30.
Yeah, Lindor has been good. Not been great, but been good.
Runs from Mookie Betts, who now leads the league in home runs. They've won 9 of their last 10.
Oh, you want to go through the Mets closers? Armando Benitez, Jerry's Familiar, John Franco, Braden Looper.
And the Nationals, who have encountered the Dodgers this week.
Frankie Rodriguez.
They're 14 and 30 on the year.
Yeah, but you know what, committee, you know what it is? When he gives the guys days off, especially the starters, he gives guys days off. He might come up late in game if the game's closer, but Jankowski can fill in perfectly fine.
And that's grounded right at Estrada. And that's the second out as Lindor goes over to third.
Yeah, you know what else, Ryan, with Lindor too? Like, he'll have like 3 bad games in a row, and then he'll break out in one game, getting 3 RBIs and go 4 for 5. That's why his numbers are pretty decent as well. So
2 hits Monday night and then a 4-hit game last night.
The record's been pretty good, Jesus. I don't think they've been bad during these day games.
A couple of games back to back like that. Three infielders on the right side against Eduardo. And he takes a slider low and in to no. '29-year-old Jacob Junis, born in Arkansas, went to high school in Rock Falls, Illinois. And the Royals found him there and drafted him in the 29th round. Just another late round draft pick made good, Keith.
Out of high school?
Yep. None of that works.
Yeah, I do.
What round were you in?
52nd. 52nd.
Yeah, Ken, he finally figured out his arm, because he was catching the ball. He just wasn't throwing it properly, but he's figured that out, which is nice to see.
It's very deceptive. How could they have been so short-sighted? All those teams.
I didn't play my senior year in Little League, that's why. I mean, not Little League, in high school, my senior year.
Well, that's because you were so temperamental.
Oh.
2-2. And that misses outside. Okay. Well, I'm glad they got to you. Because, if they never called your name, we wouldn't be here right now.
That was a dream come true. It was my favorite team as a kid growing up.
And Escobar foul tips it. Bart holds on for.
All right, the Mets didn't get nothing there, going to the bottom of the 4th, 9-1 Giants. Yeah, Roberto, I mean, Alonso's a power hitter. I mean, he is batting, 280 this year, so he's not terrible. again, he's been in a lot of spots and that he can, he could have done better in, but he is leading the league in RBIs. So, I mean, it's hard to bash Pete Alonso when you can bash a lot of guys on this team that haven't performed like Dominic Smith, J.D. Davis up until recently. You want to talk about Escobar, who's been terrible? A lot of people would take 280. I mean, that's like 300 nowadays. I mean, what is the average? What is around baseball the average around the league? It's like 245, I believe, which is absolutely terrible. Jesus, you're not going to see McCann probably until the middle of June. I think that's around 6 weeks. He's got to recover from surgery, have a couple of rehab starts. But again, if you're waiting for James McCann to come back and think he's going to help us offensively, defensively, I think he's important for the pitching staff. I don't think it's a coincidence that Bassett hasn't pitched well ever since McCann has been out. So, Ken, 331, I'd be happy with. I don't know, 330 is just not doing it for me. But yeah, I mean, with James McCann, I think the pitching staff he just fits well with the pitching staff. And I think Bassett's struggling because I don't know if it's because of it, but it's not. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not that Bassett has struggled ever since James McCann has been down with an injury. So hopefully, if McGill's bullpen sessions, I see the committee, you just said it, he should be back sometime next week. Let's hope. All right, guys, bottom of the fourth, 9-1 Giants.
Pair of doubles in this game. To left center in the first, down the left field line in the second. He's driven in a run. He's scored 2 runs. It's always nice to come to the ballpark with Wilmer's in the lineup. And it's a nice sunny day. And you hear the Friends theme as he comes to the plate. Travis Jankowski at the left field after batting for Mcneil.
I've never paid attention. Is that what it is? Okay. That sounds great to me.
I'll be there for you.
Little chit chat.
Current Mets shortstop talking to a former Mets shortstop. Wilmer gets under this one and pops it up into shallow left. Jankowski shading his eyes and stays with it for the out. First couple of games in this series, night games, and the early portion of the games, right field was the sun field. Now with the day game, it's the left fielder having to contend with the sun.
And all the high fly balls are being blown towards right field. The wind is blowing out to right.
Well, the Giants have certainly been the ones to take advantage of the prevailing conditions. 4 home runs in the first 2 innings, including one for Mikey Strumsky, a 2-run shot over the center field fence, his 4th of the year. And first pitch curveball, dribbled up the line off his foot, a foul ball, 0-1. Mikey Strumsky now with a 9-game hitting streak, just been tearing it up over the last month. Strumsky was not an instant star. He was drafted by the Orioles in the 14th round coming out of Vanderbilt in 2013, and it took him a good 5 years to get to the big leagues. And even when the Giants first called him up, there was no telling that he was going to be the player that he's become, and he's become a linchpin to this team. 25 home runs last year. Didn't have his best season, but still. Of course, his grandfather is a Hall of Famer, and that's a tough legacy to live up to.
Sure.
Line down the left field line. And Mike's dad, he was a player, but never made it. And now, a generation later, here is Mikey Strumsky living up to the family name. That's why it took him so long to get there, because he really was not a home run hitter in the minor leagues, but he has learned to be that.
He's gotten stronger as you get older. become more mature.
And like so many hitters, he has tailored his swing to hit home runs. That's a big evolution of the game over the last 10 years.
Correct. We were taught to hit on top of the ball, top half of the baseball. Not today.
Punched on the ground. In comes Lindor to get it. And he throws out Strumsky, and Trevor Williams giving the Mets exactly what they need here. Some quality long relief. They got it from Nagosic last night. Nagosic got 8 outs. Williams already got 7 outs. Now here's Evan Longoria, who's having the kind of day today that John Peterson had last night. He's already hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats. Cleared the center field fence for a 3-run shot in the first, and then took one down the left field line in the second. His first 2 home runs of the season. That last one was the last pitch thrown by Thomas Szapucki. Got another not-so-fun historical note on Szapucki. It's the only the second pitcher in Mets history to get as few as 4 outs and give up 9 earned runs. The only other one, Calvin Schiraldi in 1985.
Woof, Calvin Schiraldi.
That's when Calvin, they were starting Calvin. He came up.
Calvin has strike 3 called, and Longoria has called out on strikes, and Trevor Williams has himself a 1-2-3.
All right. Going to the top of the 5th, 9-1 Giants. So, yes, Jeff McNeil did come out of the game. He made a nice catch down the left field line, hit his knee and face into the side wall. He came out okay, looking like he's okay. I think Buck just wants to be 100% sure, even though, you didn't hurt yourself completely in the knee. Sometimes you might have a bruise, you might have a little bit of a rough, a bruise or, something, a bone bruise. And you don't want the knee to buckle while he's running and hurt himself even more. So take him out. If the Mets come back without McNeil. That's the way it's going to be. If not, you save McNeil from a disaster. You can't lose McNeil in this lineup for sure. So Buck made a good move taking McNeil out there just to be 100% safe. Yeah, I know people was like, oh, they should have started Trevor Williams. Yeah, sure, but there was a possibility that Williams might pitch during the homestand. So that's why you didn't want to use him. And he only pitched 3 days ago, so in relief, so in the start. So you don't want him to, you could have started him today and he might have given you 3 innings. So who are you going to bring in after that? Szapucki? So it would probably been just as bad. So you just never know. But again, the Mets got 6 more innings to get it done. Obviously the 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning is still good things. So there's a possibility, the Giants might score all the runs they can today. And maybe the Mets will come back, maybe they won't. Well, Ken, I think they would take, if it's the 7th inning and it's still a 7, 8, 9 run lead, take the guys out and give them, the rest of the game off, and obviously tomorrow off. Yeah, everybody wanted, the Trevor Williams first start. Everybody wanted to get him the hell out of here. He's been good lately. All right, guys. Top of the 5th, 9-1 Giants.
Could be on the rock.
Oh, and Alcatraz. That's the swimmer. Get away. Tom Smith leads off. As the first pitch into shallow center, long one in for Fairchild, who was playing deep, and he gets there. Fairchild was playing almost back on the warning track against Dom, but he hit it high enough in the air.
KTU, well, I mean, there's no really good thing to say that Szapucki hasn't been a good pitcher. He's been hurt the last 2 years, so, and he's had a 2.87 ERA in 7 games in the minors this year, so.
Chance to say hello to Sam Van Gundy before the game.
Again, he missed 2 years. That's 2 years of minor league experience he could have had, but he missed that. So, again, the Mets didn't have a lot of choices. That's why he was pitching today.
Dallas. How's the series going? 3-1. Who's? Warriors. Warriors won the first 3. They lost last night. They're gonna take care of business. It's tough to come back. They're gonna play 2 here.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that there could have been a trade so quickly. And even if you traded for a guy, who are you trading for? That might have been ready today to pitch. You just don't know.
I think the 3-point play to me has taken away. I'm an old guy.
Again, Trevor Williams could have started today and still gave up 9 runs. You just don't know. Just because he's pitching good now doesn't mean that he would have started off well.
But the Warriors are just, I like the way they.
You know, the Giants, they scored 9 runs in 2 innings. They probably, sat back a little bit and like, all right, we got a 9-8 run lead here. Let's not go crazy. Doesn't mean Williams pitching better. It's just that the Giants might have scored all the runs today, and that was it. But everybody could have said that was a bad move after Zappucki gives up the game. But nobody really thought that he was going to give up 9 runs in 2 innings. So.
I'll say this: when Wilt was here, the Warriors were not very good. But I like the Warriors, and we used to go to the games. We used to save the milk.
Ken, he's done that twice already. Like the game when he hit 4 balls hard right at guys. He sat him the next day for Dominic Smith to go 0 for 4. And then I don't know. JD Davis needs to play every day. I'm sorry. For the last weekend, almost 2 weeks, he's hit the ball hard every single time. He needs to start every day. I'm sick of seeing Dom popping up the ball every single day.
I asked Wilt Chamberlain one time after they had lost, and I must have came up to below his waist, and I had a piece.
Oh, I agree, Ryan, 100% with that.
As he's walking off the floor, Gary.
Again, the Phillies and the Braves are beating up on each other, so somebody's not going to gain ground, and somebody will. That's it.
Can I have your autograph? And he goes, no, sir.
I agree with
that. He was a good. He played the game. He was all.
Yeah, but KT, it's again what they were trying to do is you got to understand. There could have been many guys who could have pitched, but if it's not their 5th day in a rotation to pitch or not, or you could have Trevor Williams could have started the game and gave up 7 runs anyway. You don't know that just because he pitched 2 good innings after they already scored 9 runs is not really telling anything.
What if your vehicle could sense your presence? Feel your touch.
But yeah, even a low-line guy, KTU, doesn't mean that they could. That guy's going to be any better. Like you're going to give up a prospect. All right, it might be a lower-level prospect, but a lower-level guy like Mal is that okay, great. He's going to be a 4-starter, but that doesn't mean he's going to pitch well either. Yeah, KT, you could say that now, but there's no guarantee, There's no guarantee at all. That's, everybody can say, oh, look at Trevor Williams. He pitched 2 really good innings. Yeah, sure. After they scored 9 runs. They scored 9 runs. They might have took a step back and be like, all right, we got a 9-run lead, 8-run lead here. All right, let's roll it back a little bit. Doesn't mean Trevor Williams pitched well. Yeah, but KT, even if Williams would have started the game and had 3 scoreless innings, and that's all he could have went today, Thomas Zappucki could have came in the 4th inning and still gave up 9 runs. So either way, it's kind of, the Mets knew Zappucki. We knew he was going to pitch during the Colorado series. We knew Zappucki was going to pitch. Yamamoto is still coming back from the injury. I know he's pitched a little bit, but I don't even think he came back yet, if I'm not mistaken. He's in the organization, but I think he came back from that injury. So I don't know if I'm not 100% sure on that. I think Yamamoto would have been up if he was ready to go. I mean, that's just the obvious choice, but the Mets clearly either he's just coming back or he's still injured. So Yamamoto would have been a good choice, but he's not available, clearly. All right, here we go. See if the Mets can hold it to 9 runs going to the bottom of the 5th.
You provide a subscription. Download the SNY app now. Hooked in the air down the left field line off the bat of Tyro Estrada. That's down for a base hit. Jankowski stumbles, and Estrada easily into second base for the leadoff double. That's the first hit given up in relief by Trevor Williams. There's worth 2 2/3, and now Estrada dumps a double in the left field.
Slider, not a bad one. Let go with one hand.
Well, think of it this way, guys. If the Mets play 500, say this end of May into late June,
Left field's been dangerous today.
they're still going to be around 10, 11 games over 500.
So
And the
eighth
Phillies
inning,
or the Braves have to
Giants
play
first against Williams.
6 or 7 games over
Here
500
is John Peterson.
just to get close to us in the division.
Roll.
So, but the Mets have to go 500 at the very least.
Takes a big hack of a sinker, nothing in one.
Well, he doesn't get cheated. He's another guy, Gary, that kind of leans towards first base. Not as like Mcneil, where he's almost like Ichiro running, but he does lean towards first with his body. That's why he likes that ball mid.
Well, the problem with Dominic Schmidt right now is that his value is going down and down and down.
It's change up
And
down.
you're going to use Dominic Smith in a trade to get a big bat,
Right here.
big arm, in the bullpen, or in the rotation. So, but the problem is Dominic Smith's value is going down a little bit as he's getting worse and worse. Just think, we could have had Hosmer in that bullpen arm. I know Paddock got Tommy John, but would have had that bullpen arm and Hosmer right now with Pete Alonso. So, nobody wanted to make that trade.
He's got World Series rings the last 2 years.
But we'll see.
The Dodgers in 20, and last year with the Braves, and now coming back home to play in Northern California. Grew up in Palo Alto. Signed a 1-year deal, $6 million.
Yeah, but can get you even one inning. Again, there's no guarantee that anything would have worked out anyway. Zapucki could have given up 9 runs in the second or third. So.
I just love the way you just throw 6 man.
I think Trevor probably will go one more inning.
I'll take it.
So with most people, but from the perspective of
Yes.
Major League payrolls,
Yes.
Well, again,
it's a bargain.
the Phillies and the Braves have to play 6, 7, 8 games over 500, and the Mets go 500. They have to be 8 games over 500 just to catch us in the standings. Of course that can happen for sure, but that doesn't mean it will happen. And also, the Phillies and Braves are playing each other, so somebody's losing and not gaining any ground.
Within another 3 years, it went up to 4, and then it just exploded in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
It took off. So it was.
Yeah, but you can't play. They're not playing Dominic Smith every day at first base. It's just, and if it was me, I would DH Pete Alonso every day, but it just doesn't make sense. Look, you're not putting him out there. You're not gonna. Pete Alonso's your star. You're not taking him out of first base to appease Dominic Smith. That doesn't. Dominic Smith had all of last year to play well. He played every day. He did not play well. So what was his excuse last year? There is none. He just was bad. Maybe he's just not as good as everybody put him on a pedestal because he's a nice guy. That's the problem. Because he had a great 2020, which was 60 games, by the way.
It's intoxicating. Sinker misses and it's 1-1 to finish.
Garvey signed the first 5-year long-term deal for $1 million, which was basically $200,000 a year, Gary.
Yeah, Michael, it gets us up value for a trade, but if you play him and he plays even worse, then it's even more down.
Good up and in fastball by Williams.
Yeah, again, but nobody knew how Zapucki was going to pitch. He could have pitched to Gem, and then the same people thought he was going to give up 20 runs. Looks like a fool as well. So, again, you don't know until you try it out, and, well, he's going back to the minors. He tried, he failed. He needs more experience. It's that simple.
Playing out their options, and eventually arbitrator ruled them free agents, and the market was open.
The Mets are going to cut ties with Dominic Smith, just like that.
Not all that long ago.
I'm telling you, Dominic Smith is getting there. Is going to be in some type of trade that is probably either a blockbuster trade with some prospects or a mid-level trade that helps the team out.
Pitching staff that
Palmer, Mike Cuellar,
Pat Dobson. Yes, and he had the big slow hook. But Messersmith was in his prime.
If the Mets believed in Dominic Smith so much, why did they get Mark Hanna? Why did they get Starlin Marte? Because they don't believe in him.
Several years earlier, and ended his career.
If you look at Messersmith's numbers, he's with the Dodgers.
Christian, exactly. They have to play extremely well. And that's a tough test. Again, can it happen? Of course it can.
Fairchild, and that strike three call. Now looking at a sinker. It's a fifth strikeout in relief now.
There you go, Ken. Perfect trade.
First out of the inning. Best coverage of the game. Here's the T-Mobile coverage cam, and this was just an incredible play.
Again, I do expect Scherzer and DeGrom to come back late June, early July, and Mcneil should be back next week sometime.
It was a fair ball.
Like you said.
Well, Michael, yeah, you can't, but you can't trade him for a bag of balls, or a reliever that's not that good, or a starter that's not that good.
Out as we speak, just to make sure there are no ill effects. Here's Joey Bart.
Again, at this point, the Mets could use a bullpen arm. The Mets could use a starter. The Mets could use a big bat as well, even though they scored 23 runs in 2 games. I still think, if the bullpen stays somewhat where they are, which they're okay in the middle of the pack, and the starters come back, this team needs a big bat. I still think they do.
As good as anybody in the league. This is a new role for him, being the swingman.
Again, but it's very hard to make trades now because you're going to pay a premium, plus to get a really good starter or a big bat or a big bullpen arm. Because there's not a lot of teams doing it, and the teams are going to try to fleece you because they know you need it.
Well, that's the proper attitude. You want to stay in the big leagues, So if you can't play your whole life. There's no senior league like golf. You have your time, and it's fleeting. You feel like I played 17 years. It's a long time.
I actually went I put up a video when that trade was almost going to happen, and I said you'd be stupid not to make that trade. The Padres trade for Dom Smith with I forgot the name of the reliever with Hosmer, and Paddock's having Tommy John, but again, Paddock wasn't the big player in that deal.
Little relief.
1-2 to Bart. Ground ball to short might be
double play. All right, going to the top of the 6th. 9-1 Giants. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we should have made that move with the Padres again. The Dom squad went berserk, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why the Mets didn't make that trade, because I think the terrible backlash they were getting. But for a guy who's going to be a part-time player on this team, you at the time were getting 3 players. A bullpen arm, a starter, and a guy who could start at first base every day if he needed to. But he would have been a platoon guy with Alonso, which Dominic Smith is with Alonso anyway. You can't say Hosmer is not better than Dominic Smith when you have a track record with Eric Hosmer. And you're getting 3 players for a part-time player on your team who last year played every day and was terrible. And the only time he played well was the 60-game season, and everybody put him up on a pedestal. So, and that was the only thing you had to give up was Dominic Smith for 3 players. And you see what Hosmer's doing with the Padres? I mean, granted, even if he did half of what he's doing now with the Padres, it's still better than Dominic Smith. And you would have had a bullpen arm as well. And again, Paddock wasn't a big piece to that trade. Maybe down the road, nobody could think that he was going to have Tommy John. But again, even as young as he is, he's still got a couple of years of control. Who knows? He might just need to change the scenery with Paddock. And Hosmer's killing it right now. He's one of the best players in the league right now. What is he batting? Like 333? Yeah, okay, but none of these players hit home runs. Where's Dominic Smith's home runs? Nobody's hitting home runs on his team. I can assure you the Mets could have used another 300 hitter in this lineup. That would have been good, right? Yeah, the Padres are not going to make that trade now. There's no way. Because at the time, the Padres weren't playing well when that trade was going to go down, and the Mets were playing well, but it was the time Dominic Smith needed to, he wasn't playing. So, but that trade's done now. The Padres are playing too well. They're not getting rid of anybody right now. All right, guys. Top of the 6th, 9-1 Giants.
Yeah, home run distance, and it's in the water. Go! Oh, Kevin. Kevin's a little slow. Chance. Keith, look how far away that is. Oh, come on. Show me something. He was up for anything.
I agree, KTU, but you know what? Dominic Smith is a fan favorite because that whole social justice thing, which was, really, it was heartbreaking because he cried. But that doesn't mean you keep him around because he's a good guy. Play ball.
Putting Kevin out in McCovey Cove in a kayak as Biddle leads off the 6th inning.
Yeah, it was Paddock's medical reports, but it was also a lot of backlash that they got from the fans too that I didn't think helped the situation. But even if Paddock they could have took Paddock out of that trade, and for Hosmer and a bullpen arm, I would have still done that trade.
We got Kevin out the book.
And now Kevin is.
Yeah, Jimmy, exactly. That's why they wouldn't even think about that trade anymore, the Padres.
It's got a long way from the kayak to the number.
Again, the Mets didn't care about Hosmer's contract. Clearly, they would have made that trade if the medical records of Paddock were legit, and the backlash the Mets fans gave the Mets on Twitter was outrageous.
Next year.
If you go back on that video that I made about the trade, look at all the comments. People were killing me in that trade, saying that I would do that trade. But for a part-time player, you make that deal. I'm sorry. Even with the Paddock issues, you make that deal.
No, I didn't mean that Kevin was going to.
Because you're still getting a Hosmer who's still got a good bat and great defense at first, and you're getting a decent bullpen arm in return as well.
Beating out there.
Exactly, Christian. We would have got more pieces. Even if it wasn't Paddock, if you would have put somebody else in, maybe another bullpen arm or another back end of the rotation starter, I still do that deal because of Hosmer. Because people are like, oh, Dominic Smith's better than Hosmer. No, he's not. There's no proof of that at all.
Flicks one out to left, over toward the line goes Peterson, and he reaches out to grab it, and then braces himself against the side.
I agree. And you got to put Kana in there as well.
They had him play correctly. Brandon's been using left field.
I think if the Mets would have came back and says, okay, take out Paddock, we will take on the contract of Hosmer, give us that bullpen arm, and give us somebody else in return at somewhat Paddock's level. And I think the Padres would have made that deal.
He's now retired 7 in a row. And Starling Marte takes a strike.
Again, I think not just the medical records from Paddock. I also think the backlash they got on Twitter from the Mets pushed them out of that trade as well. Christian, I would have too, 100%.
That you probably have cause to be able to go in and renegotiate.
To renegotiate?
Well, sure.
My contract, what do you mean?
I mean, it's quite clear that the market for analysts on these broadcasts is changing. And, a rising tide lifts all boats.
No, Gary, I never thought of that. I'll have to give this some consideration. My contract does run up this year. So
well, there you go. I think the timing is just impeccable.
Maybe
you go in with your agent and say, okay, this is what Tom Brady's making. I'm worth at least half of what Tom Brady's making. I mean, he's never analyzed a game in his life. He doesn't know what he's doing. Fly ball over toward the right field line, and over comes Strumsky to make a running catch. Like mirror image catches to start the inning. More on this in a moment. First, let's go to the studio for a game break brought to you by a local Honda dealer, Sal Licata.
A's and Mariners in Seattle. AL Cy Young Award winner Robbie Ray on the mound. Seth Brown takes him deep in the fourth. His 5th home run of the season. 1-0 Oakland over Seattle. Gary?
All right, thanks, Sal. 2 out of nobody on here is Francisco Lindor, last man to reach for the Mets. He doubled leading off in the 4th inning.
Harris, it probably wasn't a big reason, but it was definitely a reason because they were getting killed on Twitter.
And, Brady's a great quarterback, but he's never analyzed a game.
Oh, that might be a home run for Lindor. Yep, home run.
Lindor is what happened.
All right. Every time the Mets came back in a ball game with a deficit, Lindor hit a home run later in the game. So we'll see. Maybe it's again.
8th home run of the year for Lindor as he goes the other way to cut the Giants' lead to 92.
7 runs to go, guys.
You mentioned Lindor has had lots of experience against Junis in his own.
It was his 6th home run.
Again, people love Dominic Smith because again, he became he became a nice guy. Everybody was on board with that whole social justice thing, and he was like the face of it, with crying about his background and everything like that. That's why the people loved him. And again, that's fine. You can love a guy for that, for sure. I think everybody respected the fact that he did that, but that doesn't mean that he's a good ball player.
Thinking of the cash register clicking every time you make a pithy comment.
You know what? You just want your 10%.
I claim no percentage. Just want to see you get what you deserve. Swinging of this by Alonso, and it's 1-1.
It's funny against the Phillies last night as well.
Okay, because
Lindor hit like everybody thought was a not important home run both times. And the Mets came back both times. So maybe you never know this time.
I think now it's 9-2. And they're getting right about the neighborhood where they were last night when they were down by 6.
Well, Joseph, I like Dom too. I'm rooting for Dom, but if he's not performing and he's a part-time player and you could have got Hosmer and a bullpen arm and maybe another pitcher, Jesus.
They've all been predominantly
you do that trade.
Sliders
Even if you would have kept Paddock in that trade, you still got Paddock for a couple more years. You would have got him sometime back in the middle of next year after Tommy John.
Well, how about this?
I still think you do that trade because you're still getting help now, and down the road, Paddock just needs the change scenery. They screwed up Paddock in San Diego. They really did screw him up.
Less than 20%. When's the last time you saw that? Starting pitcher.
When we used to get a guy out there, we used to say,
"Sorry, Alonso's going to hit a bomb here too, back to back."
Like this.
That's a lot of sliders.
Alonso hits a home run here. I'm doing a giveaway. How about that?
84 pitches now. It's 16 out of 84. Well, that's below the knees there. It's a change up, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, but you got to win ball games. You put Dom Smith in the lineup and he still doesn't perform. And let's be honest, Dom Smith was getting as many at-bats as J.D. Davis. But J.D. Davis has been finding a way to hit the ball hard. Dom Smith hasn't hit the ball hard all year except for like one game.
5 2/3 working for him. He strikes
Oh, no giveaway, guys. Sorry. Alonso sucks. At least today. All right, guys. Middle of the 6th, 9-2 Giants. Yeah, good. Dominic Smith could be a good player if he gets playing time every day. But on this team, he is not getting everyday at-bats. I'm sorry. I said this in the beginning of the year. J.D. Davis is a better hitter than Dominic Smith. J.D. Davis, when he got the opportunity in 2019, hit 20-plus home runs, batted .280, knocked in 65 RBIs. Dominic Smith in 60 games had a good year. When Dominic Smith got playing time every day last year, he was terrible. And in the first 2 months, in the beginning of the year, Cano got the at-bats in the beginning, for sure. When they got rid of Cano, Dominic Smith got 2 weeks of playing time. Did absolutely nothing. J.D. Davis got a chance. Wasn't doing well in the beginning, but then started to hit the ball hard. Yes, into bad luck, but then finding holes. J.D. Davis is better than Dominic Smith. Sorry. KTU, I was look. If you guys want to check out the video that I did, whenever that trade was, it was early April, when that trade was going to go down with the Padres. Check it out. The comments. You don't even have to watch the video. Just check out the comments. People were killing me in that video. Killing me in those comments. Why would you trade Dom? Dom was going to be a part-time player no matter what happened on this team. Dominic Smith was a part-time player. He's the backup on this team. If you could have got 3 players, even if Pack was still in that deal with the Tommy John issue, you would have still got a bullpen on you. You would have still got a Hosmer. Again, would Hosmer be doing what he's doing in San Diego right now? Who the hell knows? But I guarantee you, it probably wouldn't be as worse as Dominic Smith right now. All right, guys. Going to the bottom of the 6th. 9-2 Giants.
Came with a 1-2 punch in that order.
On the fence.
And, of course, Madison Bumgarner, who in that last World Series championship for the Giants in 14 was as good as any pitcher has ever been in the postseason. Buster Posey
I agree with you.
Last year. Rolled down to first base by Donovan Walton, and Colin Holderman just into the game gets over to cover for the 3-1 putout for the first out.
JD, I agree. I mean, Alonso's been good this year, but there's been at-bats during games that, I mean, he looks lost.
Success in the last decade.
Look at that ERA on Bumgarner.
Look, I don't know if that Padres trade would have been made, the Mets would have had more wins. I wouldn't say that. I would be at the same amount of wins, but I think Hosmer would have been more of a key factor in those games that we won than Dominic Smith has been. I mean, sometimes the Mets have won games where Dominic Smith's in the lineup, he has done absolutely nothing. So, and he still hasn't hit a home run this year. That concerns me a lot. You know, even J.D. Davis has hit 2 home runs this year with the amount of at-bats. I mean, I'll check right now the amount of at-bats.
I mean, if a guy gets 3 at-bats in the first 3 innings, it means his team is rolling, which was the case.
Well, he wasn't part of the contribution. No. Holderman, good spot for him. Easing him. Buck Showalter loves him. And he is nurturing him in here. Getting his feet wet, getting him comfortable. We'll see if he advances like Drew Smith.
He's done great so far, no question. And it's rough holes
just
up
checking
on the slider, and it's 2-2.
The at-bats for Dominic Smith and J.D. Davis.
Holderman pitched 2 innings in the first game of this series. Allowed no runs, 1 hit.
All right, guys. So for everybody saying that Dominic Smith hasn't gotten at-bats, 80 at-bats for Dominic Smith, 74 at-bats for J.D. Davis. J.D. Davis has batted .230, not good. 1 home run on RBIs, 1 stolen base. When it comes to Dominic Smith, has 6 more at-bats than J.D. Davis. Batting .200, no home runs, 13 RBIs. And all of those RBIs were from yesterday and that Sunday night game right before he thought he was going to get sent down to the minors. So,
2 runs, 3 hits. The Giants 9 runs.
Again,
they got all 9 in the first 2 innings against Thomas.
Similar at bats for J.D. Davis and Dom Smith, but J.D. Davis has hit the ball a lot harder. It seems like he's been more productive than Dominic Smith. So, for everybody who's saying he needs more at bats, you can say the same thing for J.D. Davis, but J.D. Davis has been hitting the ball much harder. Dominic Smith hasn't hit the ball hard at all this year. That's a problem.
And Wilmer takes low and in, 1 and 2.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez ain't happening. He just signed a deal with the Indians. It's not happening, guys. All right, guys, that was a quick 6th inning. Going to the top of the 7th. Holderman pitched good in the 6th. 9-2 Giants. 3 innings to go for the Mets to come back yet again. Can they do it? So, once again, when it comes to Dominic Smith and J.D. Davis, 74 at-bats for J.D. Davis, 80 at-bats for Dominic Smith. Has more at-bats than J.D. Davis. But it just seems they got similar numbers, average home runs and RBIs. Very similar. Well, Paris, where are you going to put Dominic Smith? He's not haven't been hitting. What are you going to put him? 3rd? It just doesn't make sense. You just can't. Sorry, you can't. You know, when you're playing bad, just like Escobar, he got sent down to 7th and 8th spot. Same thing with Cano when he wasn't hitting well for a few games. Boom. It is what it is. Hello? He is staying with the Guardians. They're not going to sign him to a contract and trade him. At least not for the first 2 years. Hello, the Guardians signed Ramirez to an extension. Now, Tyler Mail, that's a possibility. Ramirez is not happening. Ramirez already signed an extension with the Guardians, guys. Hello. That's what he already did. Yeah, I don't care if you're a nice guy. You can be an asshole and be a great player. I'll be happy with you. I don't care if you're a good guy. If you can't perform, I don't want you here. Sorry. All right, guys. So going to the top of the 7th. 9-2 Giants. Can the Mets come back again?
Salicata here with your 7th-inning game break. Dodgers, Nats in Washington. No score in the third. Alcides Escobar lines on the left side. Justin Turner with the diving catch, doubling off Victor Lopez at first base. Right now, no score. Bottom 6 in Washington. Back to you, Gary.
Julio Urias has allowed just 1 hit through the first 5 innings, facing the Nats. Donald's trying to sweep that series.
Why would the Marlins trade Chisholm?
Mets down 9-2. Travis Janikowski up for the second.
He's under control and he's cheap. The Marlins ain't getting rid of him. You gotta have realistic trades. Hello, Tyler Mail, yes, that's a possibility.
Slices 1 foul. Janikowski came in the game with Jeff.
KTU, you would probably have to video that so it can be proven. Just not below the waist, please.
Pitched on Monday night.
All right, Jose Alvarez is in the game for the Giants. Top of the 7, 9-2 Giants.
A double RBI double to Mazika, but then got the next 2 outs.
Jankowski, Escobar, and Smith for the Mets. And Travis bounces 1 foul. So the Giants bullpen in the first 19 games of the year had the best bullpen ERA in the majors at 1.54. In the last 23 games, they have the worst bullpen ERA in the majors at 7.35. Jankowski pops one up in foul ground. Longoria coming over near the dugout railing and comes up short of it. I think that ball blew back into play.
No, hello, you can have an idea for sure, but a realistic trade for Ramirez can't happen. He just signed an extension with the Guardians.
Shading his eyes there.
And Jazz Chisholm is unrealistic because the Marlins are not trading a guy who's cheap and under control for the next, 4 years? They're not trading him. Maybe if he had a year or 2 left, maybe. That's not happening. Trades like Tyler Mail, Luis Castillo, Frankie Montas, JD Martinez. But those trades are not, most likely are not happening for at least the next month. Unless you overpay. And there's no need to overpay at the moment when you got an 7 game lead in the division. And Tyler Mail is not going to change this team around in one trade. It's not happening. Oh, not really.
Off the bat was it Longoria in center field? Mcneil broke in, right? And then just
drifted back like he was going to have an easy play.
Drifted back like he was going to have an easy catch, and then he ran out of room.
Well, again, the wind blows out, but also it's 391.
They're not going to trade. Chisholm is basically a prospect. He's only been in the league for 2 years. They're not trading him. They're not desperate to refill their system. The Marlins actually are decent this year. Yeah, hello. Mal, yes. That's a possibility for sure, but Chisholm is not happening. That's just a pipe dream. It's not happening.
The shortest big league center field I can ever remember.
And they traded guys like Ozuna and Yelich and those guys. And it was a change in ownership that was happening, so that's why he was getting rid of everybody at that time as well. Yeah, but Chisholm is cheap and under control. That's why the Marlins are not getting rid of him. It's just not happening. Hello there. The Mal trade for sure. Those trades are just unrealistic. Sorry.
Escobar flies one right at the center fielder. Fairchild barely asked to move, and there are 2 out. Let's go back to the strikeout of Jankowski.
And folks at home, watch the catcher. Look how low with the stiff leg. He's almost in a squat. He's almost sitting down.
Sitting on the ground.
Yep.
Tony Pena, remember?
Oh, Varsho of the Diamondbacks. That's an interesting situation,
That
too.
left-legged
But I'm more looking at Mark Melanson of the Diamondbacks for a bullpen piece. That's a possibility. Varsho, again, he's under control, so and he's cheap, so I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to do that. That's the problem.
Was that meant to be
With those trades, again, I like Varsho for sure, hell yeah. But again, will they trade him? Now, Mark Melanson, on the other hand, that's a possibility. That's a trade piece the Diamondbacks could do.
What do you mean?
He would tap the glove and inside corner real loud, and for some reason it shouldn't have, but I didn't like it. It bothered me.
Again, there's not going to be a lot of trades, however. That's the problem. You got to go with the guys. Most teams are going to have to go with their guys right now until probably late June when trades could happen. Right now, a big trade is, I would say, about 50-50 at this point. But, I mean, I don't see why the Mets would collapse. That means that the Braves and the Phillies have to play extremely well. And at least 10 games over 500 to catch the Mets if they play bad. So, it's up to the Braves started to win last year when the Mets were collapsing. Again, everybody who was going crazy about the Braves, they lost huge leadership in Freeman, who's playing great this year for the Dodgers. That's a big deal.
Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Randy Goose. That had to be a West Coast thing. 2-2 to Dom, who's walking flight out. And Alvarez misses low with the sinker, and it's 3-2. Luis Guillorme would be next.
They're still in business here.
Yeah.
There they are, Grand Goose.
I still never heard of them.
And maybe we get the commercial image.
Why don't you go to where are they made?
Where are the chips made?
Dom takes the second walk of the game for him.
1966.
Yeah.
Sold to DeMonte Corporation.
Really?
How about that?
See, but they were made in Oakland, California.
Yep. Oh.
See, they were a local brand.
So they must have made the national commercial when they sold to DeMonte.
If anybody on the East Coast has heard of Granny Goose potato chips and you don't have a West Coast connection, let us know. Here's Luis Guillorme.
2-hour rally here?
I remember when I was a kid, there were many more regional brands in those days. The big deal was that you couldn't get Coors east of the Mississippi, right? Because it was made out of Denver. Oh, now you're watching the commercial? It's a Western commercial.
What's in the bag, right?
I got a rabbit hole down. Guillorme takes a slider for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Muzica has bigger hits than Dominic Smith this year. More hits than Dominic Smith in like 20 at-bats.
No, Dom walked with 2 out. Okay. That's without only 3 hits in this game after 18 hits in each of the last 2 games. And that slider catches the corner, and it's 1-2. Hey, tonight, Geico Sports Night can play right at 11 o'clock. It's regularly scheduled time. And to be home on Friday, we'll talk about that. Stanton on the injured list for the Yankees. And the Rangers back even in that series against the Hurricanes. If they're not even in the conference finals yet in hockey, when does the Stanley Cup finish? Like July?
What did the Rangers do in the fourth game? They won the fourth game. So they tied it up?
Yeah, they're 2.
All right, guys, so I had to time you guys out only because earlier in the stream, in the beginning, YouTube emailed me stating that a lot of the comments have been extremely vulgar, and they are going to start blocking you guys from channels and taking you off live streams as well. And then that's going to be a problem for me as well. So that's the reason why I'm timing you guys out, because I don't want you to get kicked out by YouTube from a channel. They sent me an email stating that. It's not just my channel. It's been going around sports channels. They've been really harsh on the sports channels as of lately. So that's the reason why I timed you guys out. Not because I wanted to, only because YouTube will kick you out eventually. and they emailed me about that. So I don't want you guys to stick around, obviously. So that's why I timed you out for a couple of minutes, guys. So Ken, Ella, just easy on the words and the back and forth, because YouTube has been going a little insane when it comes to sports channels and taking people off channels, and they might even scratch your channel or scratch your username for a little while. So I don't want that. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. His role is very important here, Jankowski. You know, getting on base late in games, pinch hitting late in games, you know, defensive replacement and stuff like that. Joe, you good. All right, first and second, 2 outs. Mazika. 2-out rally, guys. I feel it. Yep. They're putting a little bit of at-bats together. That's what's nice to see still. Still not giving up. You know, base hit here, top of the order comes up. 2-out rally. Get a couple of runs here, you're back in the ball game.
That's right. The famous line with what's in the bag, right?
And what was it that?
Granny Goose potato chips.
Did they make different flavors, or was it just?
Well, you saw the commercial. It was a Western.
I was really.
I'll take a base hit down the line.
I know that you had the commercial on your iPad, but you know I do have a responsibility here to keep some degree of sanity in order. 0-2 to Mazika, and he checks his swing, and he stopped it.
Yes, he did too.
Nats broke through for a run against Urias in the bottom of the 6th. They lead the Dodgers 1-0. It's so funny seeing these pitchers holding their gloves to their ear, and I don't really understand it. I mean, they've got the PitchCom speaker in their hat. I'm not sure what the glove to the ear does. 1-2 coming. On the outside corner, kind of looking at a fastball. And Alvarez puts the...
All right, going to the bottom of the 7th, 9-2 Giants. All right, guys. So, again, Ken and Ella, again, I had to time you guys out because I talked about this early in the stream, that YouTube sent me and many other sports content creators about the extremely vulgar and racist and a lot of cursing in the comments, that they are going to start blocking you from channels for a little while, or even scratching your user account to use YouTube. They've done that with about 4 people I already know that follow my channel. And, you know, I haven't been live streaming a lot, so I haven't been able to tell you guys or actually been known. That's why you probably haven't seen a couple of people who are regulars on my channel. They got cut for, I don't know how long. YouTube didn't actually make that specific, but that's the reason why I had to time you guys out. And they told me if people are fighting back and forth and start cursing and vulgar and all that stuff back and forth, to time these people out, to block them from that stream that day, because they will take action, YouTube. So I just don't want nobody to get kicked out of YouTube for like a month. I don't know what their reason is, how long. So I just wanted to let you guys know. Geraldo, member of Talking Metro Rob, what's up? Oh, Geraldo, yeah, you probably had fun until they lost. Ryan, because it's, I'll probably do a stream. I'm going to the game on Friday, so probably the next one will probably be on Sunday. But I will do a 5th inning live from Citi Field if the service is good on Friday. Saturday, maybe I'll do it. I'm hoping to do it Saturday and Sunday, but definitely on Sunday. My next stream will be. So we're going to the bottom of the 7th, 9-2 Giants. Mets are getting closer and closer to not being able to come back in this game, but we'll see. Never know. They did score, 7 runs in 1 inning, so you never know. All right, Ken, you're back.
Carlos Carrasco on the mound. It was the Nats for 3.
Yeah, I believe you heard me, right? About that, like, YouTube's getting very strict with that stuff now. And again, I don't want your channel to get, or your username to get cut for a little while, or who knows how long with YouTube.
Orange County to play the Angels for 3.
First, it's another round with the Phillies. They've already played the Phillies 9 games this year. They've got 3 more coming up this weekend. There's Shreve making his second appearance.
Oh, you're asking? So, yeah. Oh, okay, so you didn't.
So, last outing against the Giants on Monday.
YouTube sent me an email and a lot of sports
a real tough one last night.
Content creators on YouTube about comments getting extremely vulgar and racist and a ton of cursing. And because a lot of us aren't blocking you because of it or timing you guys out, they're going to take it into their own hands. They're reviewing these now. That's why your comments are coming in a little slower, because they're taking control of it now for a little while if we're not doing that. And it's gotten so bad. I don't know. I mean, it's been somewhat bad on my channel, but on other channels, I know it's been really bad. And once they start blocking you guys on the channels, they're going to go after content creators next. And that's bad for everybody. No, Ken, I'm not saying racist and vulgar, but you do get on a lot of people. You curse a lot. I agree. Listen, I never block you. You know that. Or time me out. But because they're reviewing it a lot more now, and that's why the comments are coming in slower, because they're reviewing the comments now, and they want us to time people out and block people now from streams because of those issues. Not just on my channel, all around sports channels. It's been extremely bad. Like, I follow a playoff basketball channel, and the channel got kicked off. So, yeah, it's, again, I'm not the type of person, you guys know I don't block a lot of people unless it's extremely bad. It's rare. I don't do it. I don't even have a lot of moderators. And I don't like the moderators to block a lot of people either. So, it's just how it is at the moment. They're making a big deal of it, so I have to make a big deal out of it also, because it can affect you guys checking out the channel, my channel, other channels, and eventually it can start affecting my channel, and that sucks as well. So, well, as funny as it sounds, guys, the Mets bullpen has stopped them at 9 runs, so the Mets could have had a chance to come back. So we'll see. So Carrasco is starting on Friday against the Phillies, so that's good to see. Yeah, Ken, you don't have to be a choir boy. I mean, you can get on people. Just limit the cursing a little bit. Because, again, I don't care about the cursing, honestly. I think it's trash talking back and forth. It gets a little insane when it's back and forth with Met fans. You can disagree, but sometimes it gets a little nuts.
Sunday, Bucks try to decide whether to go with Bassett on normal rest or whether slot David Peterson in. Bruce Bassett had a rough night last night. It's line to right, but Marte gets over.
All right, well, that was a quick bottom of the 7th. Going to the top of the 8th, 9-2 Giants. Can the Mets come back in the next 2 innings? They've done it before. Can they do it again? We'll see. Yeah, listen, Ken. I'm the one that look. I'm one to trash talk. Again, I don't curse as much, even though I could a lot more. But I know if I curse more, my streams and channel can get strikes, and I don't want that either. Once F-bomb here and S-word there, every now and then they don't go crazy. But when it's consistently, they will strike the channel. That's what they do. So, again, I'm not a big guy who blocks people. I've told you that before. I'm one of those channels that let a lot of things go. So that's the way I see it. But again, I said it. I should have said it again during the game. So for some people who came in, but yeah, Ken, I know you curse like you probably lead the league in curse words in the streams. But again, I'm not big on it. It doesn't bother me as much at all. Again, if you start cursing at me, I assure you I'll curse back at you. I have no problem coming back at you. That's just the way I am too. So, but again, just you don't have to completely strike it out. But again, I might not block you or time you out or strike your channel or strike your user account for YouTube or Google. YouTube might do it themselves. So if you kind of, go into the atmosphere and I don't see you and you wonder what happened, YouTube might have done it. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that. All right, guys. Can the Mets make the comeback in the top of the 8th? We will see. These are the innings that really get it together. We will see, guys. Here we go. Top of the 8th, 9-2 Giants.
Thomas a pucky head by this afternoon. No, absolutely not. They were all over his fastball. But if there's any good news, that bullpen continues to be solid for the Mets.
All right, by the way, Keith, I once asked Todd for an autograph when I was a kid. Shut me down.
Dr. Shutdown.
I agree, Roberto. I like Cookie in that spot tomorrow. On Friday.
So Todd and Will Chamberlain have something in common. Gary must
all right, top of the order. Here we go, guys. Oh, that's a home run. Oh, that's a double. That's a triple. All right, here's a good start, guys. Let's go. That's it. Here we go. Rally cap coming on. There we go.
Ball down. He's really come along.
Backwards rally cap. That's the real deal. Let's go. Let's go. It's the rally hit. The backwards rally cap. Can't go wrong with that.
So Alvarez, who pitched a hitless 7th, worked around a couple of walks, stayed on to start the 8th to face the left-hand hitter.
Again, the Giants pitchers have just all right. Well, pitch and change already. So going to another commercial. All right, guys. So it's the top of the 8th. Nimmo got a leadoff triple. We're down 7 runs. Can we do it again? We'll see if it works. We'll see. We'll see. It's a little tight on the head, but I'll deal with some pain for a comeback. Maybe we can come back and actually win this game. That would be nice. So nice start. Unfortunately, Mcneil is out of the game. He slid into the sidewall, making a nice catch in left field in the 3rd inning, I believe. We'll see. Again, the Mets have been extremely resilient almost every game. Every time they lost, they found a way to win the next day. Again, we're going to lose series. It's just baseball. But again, I think this team is too veteran stacked, where in years past, it always felt like a collapse was coming. This year, I just don't feel like that. I just think this team is too much of a veteran team to let it happen like that. It's hard to do that. Alrighty. All right, guys, here we go. Pitch and change is there. They're showing the 1962 Game 7 World Series. I think that was the Yankees.
Second base, and that ball got out of his reach. The Giants would have been the winner. Now it's the Yankees who have mobbed Brown Terry in the center of the diamond, and well, they should.
Yeah, this team is scrappy.
Of that
Sure.
1962 World Series, won by the Yankees in 7 games by the slimmest of margins.
Yeah, and look, ever since Scherzer went down, the Mets have been playing well still. So
I vaguely remember, believe it or not, that World Series. I vaguely remember the 3-game playoff with the Dodgers at the end because they finished in a tie.
The Giants scored 4.
all right, here we go, guys. Lead off triple for Nimmo. Mets down 7 runs in the top of the 8th.
Pull it out.
Can the Mets do it again?
Zach Littell is on to pitch for the Giants' first appearance in the series. And Starling Marte takes up and in, and he stopped the swing, ball 1. Marte's gone 0 for 3 today, ground out 2 fly balls. Nimmo in 3rd with nobody out. With Littell's numbers, not pretty.
A lot of hits.
5 home runs in 15 2/3 innings. Spent the first 3 years of his career in Minnesota, 2nd year in San Francisco. And he misses
this guy's wild.
2-0. Francisco
Well, he just put in a guy with a 6.5 ERA. So
is waiting on deck.
We shall see.
I mean, see what Lindor's done now his last 5 at-bats. Last night, finished with a homer and a triple. Today, a double and a home. 4 extra base hits in his last 5 at-bats. So,
I never understood when a guy comes in from the bullpen, he throws 2 pitches way outside. I would always take the next pitch, but we'll see.
Scored 7 runs in the 8th inning last night. And Marte tops one
Run
to
it out.
shortstop. That'll get a run in.
All right,
Giants
9-3.
happily trade the run for an out.
One out.
Scores to make it 9-3.
All right, 6-run deficit.
Last night was, I don't even know how to describe it. Mets were down 8-2 after 6. They scored 2 in the 7th on a Lindor home run, then 7 in the 8th. Lindor with a 3-run triple. Took an 11-8 lead into the bottom of the 8th. John Peterson hit his 3rd home run of the game to tie. Mets took a lead in the 9th. Only to see the Giants scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th with 2 out against Edwin Diaz to win it. Lindor takes a home run cut and comes up empty. Francisco doubled into the right field corner in the 4th, then went the opposite field and had a home run to left field in the 6th, his 8th home run of the season. 4 extra base hits in his last 5 at-bats. Mcneil misses down, ball is
Hey, you never know, Christian. Never know. You know, first 2 months, Lindor has 8 home runs. You know, if he keeps that pace up, what is that? That's about 25 to 26 home runs.
Used to pitch in the AL Central for Minnesota. Mets have had
He
just
did,
4
Ken.
hits today, and Lindor's got half. Francisco tops one foul, and it's 1-2. Alonso on deck. Mets starting to run out of time. They were down 9-0 in this game. It's now 9-3. With only 5 outs to play with. 2-2 to Lindor.
Got the big shift on the right side of the infield on Lindor. Last time up, he hit an opposite field home run to left center.
And he hits one back to the mound. Snagged nicely by Mcneil. And that's the second out. So Lindor retired, 2 away.
Little change up sinking. Nice stab there.
K2, I don't remember how many they said, but who else they said, but I think it's like 43, 46 guys so far.
Alonso took an 0 for last night. It's gone 0 for 3 today. Got a steady diet of sliders in his first 3 at-bats from Jacob Junis, who struck him out twice. He was in rare territory. 41 RBIs. He's only the 3rd Met ever to drive in 40 runs before Memorial Day, which isn't until next Monday, so we've still got 3 more games after this before Memorial Day. Bernard Gilbert,
Steve, not this time.
1996.
Yeah, WFN has been difficult, even though I listen to it so much at work because it keeps me going, keeps me up. There goes that slider he chases, like always.
This last couple of days.
So it's the first time I've seen Pete kind of.
Yeah, they're not trading Baez. He just signed him. No way.
Makes adjustments.
And Detroit's an up-and-coming team. They still got a lot of prospects that's supposed to be coming up over the next year or 2.
It happens. You know, it might have been a good day to get an off day. He's played every darn game, he and Lindor.
Can you see? Keith just said it. An off day for Alonso would have been nice. I agree.
Interesting, right? He's handled fastballs well. He has been great against changeups. I'd like to see that broken down lefties for righties.
But he's above the MLB average with breaking balls. Well above. And just killing you off speed.
1-2 coming from Littell, and he reaches for this one and flicks it out to center. On comes Fairchild to make the sliding grab.
All right, going to the bottom of the 8th, 9-3 Giants. 6 runs down with 1 at bat left to go. 1 half inning to go for the Mets. Rally cap denied. I'll turn the rally hat this way. Try this way now. Yeah, I think you should have given him an off day today. He played every freaking day so far. I mean, geez, if he gives a hot J.D. Davis a day off and then a hot Luis Guillermo off, you can give Pete Alonso off. I mean, then you can play Dominic Smith at first base for that day. Why not? Yeah, I went to bed. I woke up around 3rd inning. Or I went to bed around the 2nd inning. I woke up around the 6th inning. And then I was getting ready watching the game. And then when the Mets started to come back and they tied the game, I went in my car and started driving. And then the Mets went ahead by 3 runs. And then right about 5 minutes when I was from work, that's when Diaz blew the game. Yeah, Steve, that's fine. But I think Pete Alonso needs a mental off day when the team is playing. I think that's a big difference than just a regular off day like everybody else has. Yeah, well, I think 2 imperfections that Buck has. Look, the only critique that I have that everybody had with Buck is that in big spots, Buck Showalter was critiqued about using his bullpen at certain times. That was his problem in the playoffs with the Orioles many times, and that's been his biggest critique as a manager. He's great with star players. That's obvious. I mean, he had a prima donna in Machado who he handled like he's handling Lindor right now. And the Buck Showalter, I really haven't killed Buck Showalter this year, except maybe once or twice when it comes to taking guys out or putting the bullpen on him. But yesterday, Joely Rodriguez should have been in that game for Peterson. But I agree, Ken. Alonso would have had a perfect off day today and play Dominic Smith. Why the hell not? I mean, I feel like today was like a crapshoot anyway. I didn't think the Mets were going to win this ball game today. I think it was going to be a tough one, unless they scored a lot of runs, which obviously they needed to. But I don't know why Lugo was in this game. I mean, I don't know what Buck's doing.
Raging hot Jock Peterson, who takes a curve.
I mean, he hasn't pitched in what, two days. With the off day tomorrow, getting him some work. All right, so Saturday, so he hasn't pitched in 4 days. So I guess it's getting him some work in.
2 days off since that. He fires a fastball in for a strike 1-1. Peterson homered his first time up today. His 4th home run.
Oh yeah, Michael. I know he's not perfect, but
since then he's been walked twice.
His critique as a manager has been bullpen usage. When to put guys in, when to not put guys out. That's been the problem.
So of the day, Thomas Sapucki did not
that's the only thing that I can say about that when it comes to Buck.
4 home runs in an inning and a third.
Dummy, just because it's been 36 years, believe me, to your lips to God's ears, but just because it's 36 years doesn't mean absolutely nothing. Even though I think this team is good, I don't think they're good enough to win a World Series yet. They need some moves to make during the deadline for sure. This better not be no home run. Oh, I was going to say, you got to be kidding me.
And Peterson is finally retired.
But I appreciate it from a Yankee fan. But again, just because it's been 36 years doesn't mean the Mets are going to, be handed a World Series, They're good, for sure. Good to make the playoffs, for sure. But good enough to win a World Series at the moment? No. Right now, the Mets and Yankees are going through some tough injuries right now that can hurt them for a little while, for sure.
Flying out twice and taking a call 3rd strike.
Oh yeah, I think Buck, has put this, hasn't got this team to panic, which I think helped them a lot.
Kearshaw's already been traded twice since the season began, from Arizona to Seattle, and then from Seattle to the Giants 10 days ago.
Okay.
Nice sinker there by Lugo, running it on his hands.
Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in right before the game ends, please hit on that like button so the people who missed out on the stream, who want to replay the stream, it can get out to more people during the next couple of days. So I appreciate if you guys hit on that like button if you haven't already.
And Fairchild takes a fastball on the outside corner, and Lugo snapping that one off at 97 miles an hour. 2 out. For the Phil Simms jersey.
Well, it's the New York Giants.
Yeah, KTO, I agree. Like I said, again, they said specifically sports channels in quotations, not Mets channels or New York channels. It's, again, sports fans are rough. And since the hockey playoffs, I think that's been a big thing as well. There's a few NA hockey channels that have been extremely bad because if you notice, if you check out a couple of hockey channels, there's usually a lot of fans from the two different teams that are playing at that moment. So that's kind of a thing as well. So.
And Bart floats one into shallow left. Jankowski's going to have to.
Oh, nice catch.
He makes the catch. Nice play by
Oh,
Jankowski.
going to the top of the night. Last licks for the Mets. 9-3 Giants. 6 runs down. Can the Mets find a way to come back and win this ball game? Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's clearly not the football channel right now. So, again, I think it's the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, and then baseball in general is just a big back and forth talking crap back to each other type of thing. So, yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm going to make a crazy announcement here. If the Mets come back, they don't have to win. If they tie the game, I will do a giveaway. I don't know what it would be, but I'll do a giveaway. But all you got to do right now, if you're in the stream, the Mets tie the game. That's all they got to do. Tie the game. I will do a giveaway. But all you have to type is "Let's Go Mets" and become a member of the channel. How about that? You could take the lowest membership at $1.99, become a member, type in "Let's Go Mets." I'll do a giveaway if the Mets come back. If the Mets don't come back, you can cancel your membership right away if you want. So technically no obligation if the Mets don't come back. KTU says 11-9 Mets. All right, Donovan, you're in. All right. Again, Let's Go Mets. Click on the membership for the lowest membership, $1.99. The Mets come back. Continue to be a member. If the Mets don't come back, you can cancel right now if you wanted to. Yeah, I don't think they wanted to. I think they just wanted to see what Zapucki had. If Zapucki did a good start, Roberto, maybe they would keep him in for another line of rotation, not try to rush Mcneil back a little bit. I don't know. Honestly, I think they worried about the bullpen. I don't think you want to mess with the guy who has a partially torn UCL and mess around with him. I don't know. So we'll see. But unfortunately, Zapucki just didn't have it. He's not ready. I don't think the Mets. He's been pitching well in the minors. Under 3 ERA in 7 starts. Hasn't won, but that's probably not his fault. So we'll see. Yeah, Gummy. I even tried to talk to YouTube about it. Apparently, that this one, the bot, comes on a lot of channels. No matter what I do, subscriber mode. Block them. They change the wording. They change the account every time. All right, guys. Top of the night, 9-3 Giants. Can the Mets come back? We'll see.
And in the game at Citizens Bank Park, he was brought in to pitch the ninth inning, and he gave up back-to-back home runs to Conforto, VR, and McCann. That's the last time the Mets hit back-to-back.
Steve, if you do that,
home runs. So now he's giving up.
I'll buy you 2 tickets to any Met game wherever you want to go.
And this series,
I promise you that. If you do that, the Mets come back and tie, and you run on the field, I'll buy you 2 tickets to any Met game you want. I promise you that.
Up for the third time. He's rounded out strikeouts since taking over from Mcneil in left field. Jankowski trying to snap an 0 for 14 stretch. Escobar and Smith to follow in the top of the ninth. It's been fighting uphill all day after the Giants scored 9 runs in the first 2 innings. A knee-high fastball first strike.
There you go, Steve.
Jacob Junis started for the Giants, went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 3 hits. Jose Alvarez gave up a run in an inning.
Hey, Brandon, what's up, buddy?
Patel got 3 outs in the 8th, and now Yovera trying to finish it up. Trying to stop the Mets' incredible stretch of having won each of their last 14 games following a loss. That slider just missed.
Braves fans can talk, man. They won the World Series last year. Again, they're not playing well this year, but I think it's tough you lost Freeman. I think that's a big deal. But you can talk crap. You won the World Series last year.
Oh,
1 out.
Swinging out a sinker. Yeah, there's the first out of the night. Corrigan Roberts moved in and made themselves comfortable at the home of New York Sports. WFAN Sports Radio's unapologetic duo unpack all their personality and opinions on Corrigan Roberts, presented by Grubhub. Catch them live weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. only on SNY. Here's Escobar, who's 0 for 3 today after his 4-hit game last night. The backdoor breaking ball misses for ball 1.
Freeman might be a traitor, but I think it's a big deal you guys lost Freeman. Even if Olsen has similar numbers, I think that leadership is going to hurt the Braves this year, honestly. Because I think Freeman kept that team together when they were struggling last year.
Friday night, the Mets are home to play the Phillies. Carlos Carrasco against Zach Eflin. That game will be on Pix 11. Fox has Saturday. ESPN has Sunday, which means our next SNY telecast will not be until Monday.
Well, Memorial Day.
Well, the Nats come in. Night game of Memorial Day, right?
Yes. Unusual.
Speaking of scheduling, speaking of this, to Escobar, if you go ahead in the schedule to August, you'll see that on Saturday, August 6th, the Mets are scheduled to play a day-night doubleheader with the Braves. And the next day, they're scheduled to play a day game with the Braves. Well, Buck Showalter, being as proactive as we know he is, did a little lobbying, apparently. Looked at that schedule and said, if we're playing a day-night doubleheader on a Saturday, we probably shouldn't play a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday.
Yes.
And sure enough, the Mets announced today that Sunday, August 7th game has now been moved to 4:10. That is smart.
I agree.
He doesn't miss a trick. You know that,
No,
right?
he doesn't.
2-2 to Escobar. And a check swing, and he called it in time, 3-2. Dominic Smith waiting on deck.
Yeah, so that is a big loss for you guys too. It's not easy losing Freeman and Soler and then expect the same amount of production from other guys. It's hard.
Oh, 2 more days in the Bay Area. Think of the trouble you can get in. Escobar flies one out to left. Chasing Peterson back to the track. It's a wall.
Whoa.
And it lands.
That wind is crazy.
Peterson completely misplayed that ball, and Escobar winds up with an opposite field double.
Escobar will take it. One a day keeps the doctor away, but boy, Peterson really botched this one up. It's a fly ball back.
1 out
The
double.
wrong way.
They really got close to it.
So I have to look about ordering some food right now.
Pack that in.
It's a tough play, but you got to know the ball's going to break towards right field with the wind. But still a tough play.
That's the Mets' 5th hit of the day. Here's Tom Smith, who's walked twice, and he swings and misses at a sinker, 0-1. Dom had 2 hits last night, including his 3rd career triple, which wound up leading to the go-ahead run of the night.
Yeah, it's a little crazy
4
that
for 1 today. DH last night, playing first base today. He grounds one on the right side into the shift. And there's
Jesus,
Alton
Dom.
to throw him out. And with that, the Mets
Two
are down to their
outs.
final out. With Luis Guillorme coming up. Well, the Mets are on the verge of losing a series for only the 2nd time in their first 14 series of the year. This was a lost day early, as Thomas and Puckey got cuffed around in his first big league start. 1-0 to Guillorme, who's 0 for 2 in a walk. Which brings up the question of what the Mets will do the next time that spot comes up in the rotation, which would be Tuesday against Washington. He gives Puckey another shot. Do they put Trevor Williams back in the rotation? Do they reach down to the minor leagues for somebody else? Those would seem to be the 3 broad options.
Or
Is that a lifeboat?
boy, that tell you what, that's you're secure in that thing.
I guess, if that's what it is. It's like a pond inside the Guillorme 3-0. I mean, it looks like that could survive underwater. Like a submarine lifeboat.
Wow.
With a big bathtub with a roof. Now there's a 4-pitch walk to Guillorme.
All right.
So he walks
Still
the
alive.
second time. And the Mets will get one more batter to the plate with Patrick Mazika coming up. Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach, is going to go out and talk to Yovera. And at this point, down by 6 runs with 2 out of the 9th. You got to believe. Or as Tug McGraw said, you got to believe.
Also, do you remember Game 6 of that '86 World Series?
Well, you weren't down by 6 runs.
We were down,
Down by 2 runs.
right? Nobody on,
2 outs.
Not over
Nobody
until
on.
it's over, guys.
Somebody made one of those outs.
So you got to bring that up, don't you? Well, I wasn't alone.
Yeah, but at least you found the lucky seat.
Alrighty.
I did. Mr. Cartier did not go down. We started the rally.
Dominic Leone at least starting to lose a little bit in case Yovera needs help here in the 9th. Let's have 2 on and 2 out from Mazika. Rally cap. That is an optimistic fellow. Mazika's 1 for 3 today.
Well, guys,
Makes it back
can
to
they still
third.
come back with 2
So
outs?
at third, Guillorme at first with 2 out. And Mazika takes a slider for a strike. Yovera about to throw his 20th pitch of this 9th inning. And it's grinded down at first. That's a fair ball.
And the ball game is over. The Mets did not come back. Giants win 9-3. Take the series 2-3. Mets lose. But we are heading back home after an off day tomorrow. And we play the Phillies at home. Can the Mets bounce back after the second series loss of 2022. I think they can. I think they'll be fine. They got, somewhat of the good pitchers, going against the Phillies. Excuse me, Carrasco, Walker, and Peterson. And we'll see what happens. The Mets are 29-17, 12 games over 500. Still will be around 6 or 7 games over 500, depending on who wins today against the Phillies and the Braves. But it was a tough loss. It was kind of expected, honestly. I thought they were going to come out kind of flat today. Not expecting Zapata to give up 9 runs in 2 innings, but I expected them to come out flat today. After yesterday, it's just air out of the balloon type of loss yesterday that trickled into today. Jeff McNeil looks like he's going to be all right. Smart move by Buck Showalter taking him out just to be 100% safe. But Mets went 3-3 on the West Coast trip with the Rockies and the Giants. Again, you take that 9 times out of 10. If somebody said 3-3 in the West Coast, you'll take it. And, after the homestand, we got another big West Coast trip where it's going to be the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Angels. And, again, if you come 500 out of that, I'll take that as well, honestly. But once again, guys, Mets lose 9-3. I will not be streaming the full game on Friday because I'll be at the game. I will do my best to do a 5th inning live based on the service at Citi Field. I'm going to set that up, so if it works, I'll be there at the 5th inning for the live stream. I will definitely do a live stream on Sunday. I'm trying to see how work pans out, but I'll do my best to do it on Saturday as well. So once again, guys, Mets lose 9-3, lost 2 out of 3 against the Giants, 3-3 road trip on the West Coast. I will see you guys next time. I will see you guys hopefully in the 5th inning on Friday. And definitely on Sunday as well. So once again, guys, have a good night. Enjoy your, Wednesday. I'll see you again. No Mets baseball tomorrow, so you get Ranger hockey tomorrow. If you're a Ranger fan, let's go Rangers. And I will see you guys next live stream. So once again, guys, have a good night. As always, let's go Mets. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, guys.